And here we go. Tuesday, December 14th. Ermanni and Edwards, The Bottom Line. Woodward Sports Network. Ryan Ermanni, Braylon Edwards, Santa Edwards as well, a.k.a. Stan Edwards. How you doing, my friend?
I'm doing great. This is a wonderful time of the year. It's always great when folks like us, who are very, very privileged and very, very humbling in what we're able to do and how we're able to reach out to everyone else. And I want to say a shout out to my sister, 1977 graduate, Deborah Johnson, good friend of mine, a new viewer to the show. But this is why we do what we do. We want to make sure that folks that are not as fortunate as we are, that we can help out and support in any way we can.
If you are watching on YouTube or Twitter or anywhere else you're watching the Ermanni and Edwards program here on Woodward Sports Network, what we are doing in studio is pretty spectacular. I hate to give ourselves and everybody out there a pat on the back. Stan Edwards brought bags of toys in today as we try to stuff a studio, Braylon, and we have through December 17th to do that.
Yeah, I think the good thing is us as a network, we're able to reach out to the friends and family that we have and have them come and support. And I reached out to Dad. I said, "Hey, Dad," and he said, "Hey, I already know what we got going on. Just relax. I'm going to come in the studio." So he bought this. Mom's coming later on in the week, and then we're always having more people come. I'm just excited that this is the type of people that we work with, that they want to bring people in. They want to bring things in. It's a hell of a thing we're doing, man. And we've been working with Mott Children's Hospital at U of M, speaking especially the football team, Dad knows, for a very long time.
Absolutely.
And I love the work that Michigan does with Mott Children's Hospital. And I love the result that Mott Children's Hospitals get. Yep. A lot of times you can be an individual or you can be an entity that pulls from somewhere, but you don't see the result. They're pulling in a very sneaky space. Mott Children's Hospital is putting everything on the line. They're showing you everything that has been given, and I've always loved working with Mott Children's Hospital.
Want to thank one of our employees here, Andrew Jonah. His mom came in today as well. Just fantastic.
She had 87 bags.
Yeah. So last year, Woodward Sports raised over $70,000 worth of toys during our Stuff a Studio campaign. We want to beat that this year, and we are on our way towards doing that. If you'd like to stop by our studio, you have until Friday to do so. 34915 Woodward Avenue. That's 15 in Woodward. 34915 Woodward Avenue in Birmingham. Come anytime from 8 a.m. until 10 p.m. We're here all week through Friday, and then we'll get a truckload of toys over to donate to the kids at Mott Children's Hospital. Obviously, Braylon and I and Maz are here from 2 to 4. If you'd like to do that at some point, we're here at those times, Braylon.
Let's do our regular intro. Coming back to me as he always does. Man, did we see the most pivotal game starting off the playoff season for the NFL? I think yesterday you saw the first major piece fall in the NFC, and we'll talk about that. Hey, there's a guy that plays for the team that wears number 3. He used to wear number 13, and according to Baker Mayfield and Kyle Stefanski, he was a problem in Cleveland. Well, he doesn't seem to be the problem in L.A., does he not? So, great night.
Are you referring to Odell Beckham Jr.?
I'm referring to the very same. The individual that Baker Mayfield tried to say was a problem, that Kyle Stefanski tried to say was a problem. And I told you guys my thoughts on that. Like you see how I rephrased that this time around? I told you my thoughts as opposed to saying what could be right or wrong. I said if you want to feature somebody and get somebody the ball, you can feature somebody and get somebody the ball, especially when you had the best running attack in Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt. But you just didn't want Odell Beckham on your team as Kyle Stefanski. You just didn't want Odell Beckham on your team as Baker Mayfield because you wanted to be the guy. You wanted to be the only guy. You wanted to be the guy that they talk about nationally, more consistent on your team. And that's not going to happen when you have Odell Beckham because it dang sure seems like the Los Angeles Rams have found a way to get the ball. And no, he's not out there destroying teams. He's not 150 and 120 and 130. And Matt Stafford had a great game. We'll get back to him. I don't want to take any credit away from him and Aaron Donald. But with Odell Beckham, when you run the ball like the Los Angeles Rams have done in the last 2 games, which the Cleveland Browns have done for 2 years, you can easily get them the ball because now Cooper Kupp has one-on-ones, and so does Odell Beckham. And you can say he's not what he was in 2015 or 12 or 13 or 14, but guess what? He's still an individual that's going to beat a one-on-one every damn day of the week.
Really great player, and we will certainly hit on that Monday Night Football game last night. Huge game for the Rams to get that win on the road. Tom Mazawey, I say good afternoon to you, my friend.
Hello, everybody. It's great to be here. I loved that game last night. Thank God they hit that last field goal because I had the over. I had the Rams in the over. I don't know what they were going through. What was Kingsbury thinking when you're down 10 and you're going on fourth and whatever the heck it was? Instead of kicking the field goal when he had a chance to do it, then you could have went in for the touchdown to take. They messed up that game something fierce. That's why they're not in the class of the Packers and the Buccaneers.
I agree with you that they are not in the class. I 1,000% agree with you. But one thing I will say is, who have we said was the best wide receiver in football for the past 3 years? DeAndre Hopkins, correct?
He's disappeared.
What did DeAndre Hopkins do on that play and in that game that he doesn't do?
On fourth down.
Yeah.
In the red zone. You will never hear that. You will never hear that phrase again. DeAndre Hopkins has a meaningful drop in the red zone on fourth down. I guarantee you, you won't ever hear that phrase again. That hurt him. And also, when you're a short individual at quarterback, listen, I understand that it is not the size of the dog in the fight. It's the size of the fight in the dog. But to a certain extent, when you're playing in the NFL as a quarterback, as Russell Wilson, there are going to be plays that you just can't make because you are vertically challenged, because you're going to be looking at a Von Miller in your face who's 6'3", who's 275 pounds. You're going to be looking at an Aaron Donald who's coming at you with long arms, or Leonard Floyd. There's also offensive linemen that you will have to throw the ball over. You're going to miss some throws. You're going to miss some plays when you are a shorter quarterback, especially when your running game isn't what it was. Look at Russell Wilson when he was having success and winning Super Bowls. Yes, running game was strong and he could pass the ball. But when he didn't have the running game, now you start to see a lot of passes get tipped and bad at the line of scrimmage.
Well, I'll tell you, while we're talking about it, let's just talk about it. Let's just go there with the Monday Night Football game, because I hear about Odell and Aaron Donald and Kyler Murray and DeAndre Hopkins. That game was about one person to me, and that's Matthew Stafford.
Oh, yeah.
That is the first time in his career that Matthew Stafford has won a football game against a team that was more than 5 games above 500.
That's unreal.
This is a player who's been in this league for 12, 13 years, and that's the first time he got a win. This LA Rams team, Stan, to me, they needed to win that game last night to prove to themselves that they could do it, and they went out and got it done. That's why Matthew Stafford was traded there for 2 first-round picks and their quarterback in the offseason.
There are a lot of stories and sub-stories to what happened last night, and Matthew Stafford is at the top of that. See, Matthew Stafford always had the arm talent, and I have been a big fan of his ever since he's been here. You know, again, Calvin Johnson, who we know is one of the greatest wide receivers ever to play, first ballot Hall of Famer, the year after he retired, Matthew Stafford takes them to the playoffs. So it's never been a question of Matthew Stafford's skill. It's been performing at the right moment at the right time against the right team. And so last night will go a long way as just kind of cementing that he is one of the top 5 quarterbacks in the league, at least this year. And where will he go from here with this kind of supporting cast? Again, I've been a huge Matthew Stafford fan for quite some time, but last night went a long ways, but they still got to get, at least in my opinion, he's got to get them to the NFC Championship game.
That week off did him wonders because he was playing banged up.
Yeah.
So they get the week off, they come back, and they look like dynamite. I love a team off a bye, by the way.
Yeah, there are a lot of storylines in that game. I mean, you could talk about Van Jefferson, scoring a touchdown and reappearing. That was one things that the Rams, they lacked for a while. When Robert Woods got hurt and you bring in Odell Beckham, the first thing that the Rams fans, as well as the Ram community in general, they're like, well, shoot, Van Jefferson has played well with Robert Woods, so I don't see any reasons why he won't play well with Odell Beckham. Well, you got to figure it out. You have to get Odell to understand his role in terms of what Robert Woods did. The other thing is you saw a lot of unsuccess, and I'm jumping right back. We can get into the other stories line now. The one that matters is Matt Stafford. When you look at what the Rams did when they hired Von Miller and they hired Odell to come on and jump on their team that was 7-1, they lost Robert Woods, who was their best wide receiver in terms of the little things.
Right.
Like Cooper Kupp's arguably the best wide receiver in the league right now, but the little things, that's what Robert Woods did for them well. Also, that running game got exposed. The wins they had came against teams that were under 500, and they only had one really good win, and that was against Tampa Bay early in the year. Their running game was failing them miserably, and they weren't trying to run the ball. What you saw in the last 2 weeks, they had six-man line protection. They had 24 plays 1 week ago, 20 plays last night. That means they ran the ball 44 times with 6 linemen in the game. They changed the game. Because if you look at what they turned into for a brief second with the Rams, they look like the Lions. This is what Matt Stafford was accustomed to. Right. No run game, throwing the ball. Everyone knows we're going to come. Matt Stafford's going to come out here. He's got to get the ball to Kenny Galladay. He's got to get the ball to Marvin Jones Jr. He's got to get the ball to Golden Tate. He's got to get the ball to Nate Burleson. He's got to get the ball to Megatron. Insert receiver here, or the tight ends, Eric Ebron and Hockenson, and you're not worried about a run game. That's what the Rams turned into for those 4 weeks that they couldn't win. The last 2 weeks, it's not just that they played against the Jaguars, and it's not just that Odell Beckham has come on a little bit. It's because they're running the ball as well. Now defense have got, oh, shoot, I have to worry about the run as well as the pass, and that's why you get a guy like Odell Beckham, who's one of the best wide receivers in the league 3 years ago, one-on-one, and he's going to win that every time.
Yeah, it's interesting you said that Cooper Kupp is having a fantastic year, but interesting you pull his name out, Cooper Kupp. Who was Cooper Kupp's quarterback this year?
Matt Stafford.
When Calvin Johnson was one of the best receivers in the league, who was his quarterback?
Matt
I
Stafford.
Always said when we lose Matt Stafford, we're going to realize.
Golden Tate's Pro Bowl. Pro Bowl Tate, only Pro Bowl Golden Tate went to. Who was his quarterback, Dad?
Matt Stafford.
He's a really good quarterback. He has not been able to get it done on the game's biggest stage, Tom Mazawey, but he is getting there now. I mean, this is his third win against a team that's better than 500. So he's 3-4 this year against teams that are above 500. Again, this is why Matt Stafford was traded there, to win games like this on the road.
And there's no doubt that Sean McVay is beside himself. He loves what he did. That was a great trade for both teams. The Lions were going nowhere. They got the picks. The Rams, they got Jared Goff off the books. They get Matthew Stafford. Excellent upgrade. I'm happy for him. Although I'm a Lion fan and I want the higher draft pick, but I want Matthew Stafford to win a playoff game. I truly do.
Does last night's game change how you feel about the NFC at all? I want to ask you guys that as we head to break. Also, we'll get into the college stuff. Stan, I want to see where you stand on the Desmond Howard controversy from over the weekend.
Oh, boy.
And we'll get into the Urban Meyer stuff as well. The Jacksonville Jaguars owner spoke about that today. We'll hear what he has to say as well. Plenty to get to on a Tuesday. Ermanni and Edwards.
Woodward Sports Network, the bottom line. Merry Christmas out there. Get into the movies.
Happy New Year.
Fellas, football season is here. It's time to make your grooming experience easy like Sunday morning. Get to Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men. Walk in, relax, watch your favorite team play, and before you know it, your hair will be game ready. Get to Lady Jane's, open 10 to 8, 7 days a week. Walk in anytime. It's wicked awesome.
Make sure you download the Woodward Sports app in the App Store and the Google Play Store today. Take Woodward Sports with you wherever you go and listen live on your phone or mobile device.
Hey, gang, it's Maz from MyBookie.ag, our studio sponsor here for Stuff a Studio at Christmas time. We want to thank everybody involved in that. MyBookie is the place I put my bets in. Of course, I had the Rams and the over last night. I told you I was going to get that win. Anyway, if you're a first-time gambler and you want to take a chance, MyBookie is the place to go. They're going to give you the promo code Woodward. That's what I'm going to tell you, because they're going to double your first deposit all the way up to $1,000. That's right. That's money in your pocket. Better than put it in the bank. Just double your money right away. Put $1,000 in, get $1,000 back. Put $100 in, get $100 back. And not only that, they'll do it in any kind of form. You want Visa, MasterCard, American Express. How about cryptocurrency? Cash. They'll do it all at mybookie.ag. Plenty of games coming up tonight. Got some basketball. We're going to talk about that. Make sure you stay tuned because you got Steph against the Knicks tonight. Is he going to get that three-point record? You know he is. At the Garden, the Mecca of basketball. That's right. Go to MyBookie. Use the promo code Woodward tonight to double your first deposit. MyBookie. Bet anything, anytime, anywhere with MyBookie. If you have a gambling problem, please call the Michigan Gambling Problem Hotline. 1-800, that's 270-7117.
Guys, I want to ask you a question. Does last night's game, Braylon, we'll start with you. Does last night's game change the way you think about the NFC overall? I mean, obviously, Aaron Rodgers and the Packers, Tom Brady and the Bucs, they seem to be the class of the NFC. Where do the Rams fit in there?
I don't think it changed anything I thought about the NFC, and I think the NFC is better than the AFC. I think when you look at the AFC, you're looking at the Kansas City Chiefs and you're looking at the Patriots. That's it. Like, that's what you're looking at. Like, obviously, you're wondering if Joe Burrow and the Cincinnati Bengals or the Baltimore Ravens are going to be there. You're wondering if the Chargers, they're going to ride their 2-game high and figure it out. The Colts, they seem to be the team no one wants to play. But with that being said, there's only 2 teams that you're really focusing on in the AFC. In the NFC, there's 5 to 6. You're wondering what the Cowboys are going to do. You're wondering if Tampa is through. Have they figured it out? You're wondering if Green Bay, is this the year that Aaron finally gets it done? Because he's a wizard. He's a wizard in the regular season, but he tends to falter in the NFC Championship. And then you look at teams like the Rams and you look at the Cardinals. The Cardinals, to me, by losing, they didn't hurt themselves by losing. No. They hurt themselves in the sense that now home field advantage will belong to probably Lambeau Field, if we're calling a spade. But they still look good. Minus 3 plays, Cardinals still played a good game. And the Rams were in a desperation mode. Like, when you have a desperation situation and you have a coach in Sean McVay that's been to a Super Bowl, you have a player in Matt Stafford that you've traded for, you've traded everything for, who's shown you early on in the year that he could win some games. And he was the guy that you thought he would be. He was that guy last night. Aaron Donald, he showed you why he's the best defensive player in football. Now, it can be argued, Micah Parsons, we'll go there later, but he showed you why he is who he is. In a desperation time with a team like this, it's not surprising that they were able to get the win. But don't forget, you had DeAndre Hopkins drop a pass that he doesn't usually do, because he doesn't drop passes, especially in the red zone. You had Kyler Murray, who threw a tipped interception and then threw a bad play. He threw one bad play, and it happened to go to Leonard Floyd. Leonard Floyd got the interception and got all the way down to the red zone. But they were 3 plays away from, and they got the 4th onside kick in the NFL this past week, which was nuts to me. And they almost had a chance to win. So it doesn't take away anything but this. The NFC is better than AFC still. The Arizona Cardinals are still a really good football team. The Rams, their players, they're paid deservingly so because they show up in big moments. NFC is still the best conference, and it just shows me that show me that Matt Stafford, Aaron Donald, they can play well because, oh, by the way, they didn't have the best defensive back in football, and that's Jalen Ramsey.
Yeah, and I'm with you because I think the Cardinals are the top of the cream of the crop in the NFL, let alone the NFC. Because even if they have to travel to Lambeau Field in January, when you're playing in a cold environment, you rely more on your running game. Kyler Murray is their running game, and Kyler Murray can run in any kind of weather. He can throw in any kind of weather.
And James Conner is helping them out too.
Absolutely.
Oh,
so
man,
I do believe that I will give the edge in the AFC. I don't know if it's an edge. I'm a huge Cardinal fan. I think what they built this year, barring any injuries coming in the next few weeks, they're going to be the team to beat. In the AFC, I don't trust the Patriots just yet. I was always a huge Mac Jones fan. I think he's going to do well, but I think by the time they get to the playoffs, I'm not sure if he's so far advanced enough that he'll be able to kick them through the playoffs. So I still think the AFC is up for grabs.
Maz, based on the tiebreakers with the loss last night, the Arizona Cardinals moved down to the 3rd spot in the NFC. Green Bay, Tampa, and Arizona all 10-3 on the year. Green Bay gets the home field advantage, Tampa Bay the 2 seed, Arizona the 3 seed if the season ended today.
And if you're wondering why, when Tampa Bay and the Cardinals are tied, why would they have the difference in terms of 2 and 3? That's because of it's because of divisional records. Tampa Bay has a better divisional record than the Cardinals.
They have nobody to beat in that division. They got the easiest division in football.
Yeah.
By the way, the Cardinals, I think, are 7-2 on the road. They are under 500 at home.
7-1.
7-1. So they don't care right now about going on the road, to be honest with you. But it doesn't change my mind.
7-0. They're 7-0. Yeah, they're 7-0 to your point.
They're playing great on the road. Green Bay is the best team in football. They're going to win.
Better than Tampa.
They're going to play Tampa in the final. They're going to play Tampa in the NFC Championship. It's going to be at Lambeau or it's going to be in Tampa. I don't care where it is. Green Bay is going to win that game. Arizona is 3rd best. In the AFC, Patriots, going to be tough. Kansas City playing the best football of anybody right now. I can't bet against Kansas City right now the way they're playing. Chris Jones is playing out of his mind. Although, guess what? He got COVID now. He might not play on Thursday when they play the Chargers. Yep. A lot of COVID cases going around. 38 right now in the NFL alone. But the Packers and the NFC, I think, are the cream.
Yeah, notice what you said. My apologies, Dad. Notice what you said, the teams you named. You talked about Aaron Rodgers. Why are they turning up all of a sudden. That's because they figured that defense out. Jair Alexander is back. Ryan is not injured. Ryan Gary, my apologies, Rashawn. And then also Russell, the DB that they bought off practice squad, put him in the game. He now has 2 games in a row. Rasul Douglas, excuse me. He now has 2 picks. Every team that you name, you look at the Rams last night, what did they do? Aaron Donald. There was a 3-sack Aaron Donald sighting. There was a Von Miller sighting yesterday. Every team that you name right now, you talk about the Chiefs. Why are the Chiefs winning? It damn sure ain't Patrick Mahomes. It's because of Melvin Ingram, midseason trade, and it's what they're doing on defense. Every team you name, they're playing defense.
They can also all run the ball, too.
You speak to this more than anybody. What happens in December? Got to play defense.
Yeah, you got to play defense and running the ball. I did not mention either Tampa Bay, NFC, or AFC's Kansas City Chiefs, because I just think Tampa Bay, I think Tom Brady's age will start to show in the playoffs. I have no idea where I get that feeling from. I just think his real age will start showing in playoffs. I think they'll probably get to the championship game. I don't think they'll get to the Super Bowl. Not only because of his age, it's just so hard to get back all the time. It's just really difficult, and they don't have Bill Belichick on the sideline doing whatever he do. He does good coaching, he does good scouting, and he does other stuff too. Kansas City. It's just hard when you play high roller football all the time to always make sure that you can pass the ball and play video game football, and you're going to win that way all the time. So I'm not quite sold on Kansas City either.
Tampa Bay's offense does seem a little bit, I don't want to say off. That's not the right.
They got everything.
But one guy that they haven't had over the last 3 weeks is Antonio Brown.
Correct.
And yesterday, Bruce Arians was making some comments about he's unsure what he's going to do with Antonio Brown when he's able to come off of the NFL suspension this week. And I'm thinking to myself, what do you mean you're unsure what you're going to, like, he wants to ultimately, I think, penalize him even more for the fake vaccine card.
He made a deal with him. When he signed him, the deal was you screw up once and you're gone. Last year, the guy helped them win a Super Bowl.
He did.
So you know what? They already got their payoff on Antonio Brown. Now it's going to be between Arians and Tom Brady. It's going to be the two of them going at each other to see
who's going to win that battle.
I think Brady wins the battle. I think you'll see Antonio Brown.
I think I disagree with both of you individuals because I think the Bucs offense is just fine. I think he only helps their offense because they like to go through him in terms of in the slot. A lot of those little short dunks and things that they do, especially in the red zone.
Fournette's a new man.
And I was just going there. You took the words out of my mouth, Maz. Like, he's turned Leonard Fournette into that running back that he had. He had a Kevin Falk. He had you go down the list of running back, Burkhead. You go down the list of run James White that he had in New England. He's turned Leonard Fournette into that type of running back.
Better.
Meanwhile, now Mike Evans and him has started to find the chemistry. Because Mike Evans was happy winning Super Bowls. Mike Evans said, I got 7 years in a row with 1,000 yards, but I ain't got no playoff wins.
Right.
Now he's got a Super Bowl win. Now Brady is starting to come back to him. That's a great relationship. Not to mention Chris Godwin and him are doing some good things. Not to mention Gronkowski and him are still lighting up the record books as what they're doing. They're fine. The defense has started to play for those guys. And you talk about Tom Brady. Tom Brady's been able to hand the ball off a little bit more later on in the year, which means he doesn't have to run as much, although we did see him run the most he's ever run this past game. I think Brady's energy, his exuberance, I think the winning, all that is helping them, and it's helping him extend his career in terms of playing at a quality, high level. I think Tampa Bay, they're perfectly fine. Now, the Chiefs, I definitely understand. I agree with you on the Chiefs. You still haven't seen that Mahomes that we've seen in the past. You're still trying to wonder. It's getting better. But they're not the reason they're winning right now. It's because of the defense. So, 6 wins in a row, can't sneeze at it, but I do understand where you're coming from.
Yeah, Father Time, I think, is catching up with Tom Brady. I think it's just his body. His mind is still fine. How he wins the game in overtime and throws it to a receiver that had no targets in that entire game, only a witch can do that. Tom Brady's a witch here, but his body's giving out.
All right, guys, we're going to transition to the college football game when we come back. We'll talk about Desmond Howard as well. I want to get Stan's fresh perspective on that. Fair or foul, what Desmond said, why Ohio State fans have such a problem with it. We'll get into the Urban Meyer situation as well. Is he one and done in Jacksonville? Dan Orlovsky making some news last night with a tweet as well regarding his former head coach, Jim Caldwell. Ermanni and Edwards.
Woodward Sports Network, the bottom line.
Hi, I'm David Hall from Hall Financial.
One mortgage myth we hear all the time is having to choose between a 15 or a 30-year fixed term. At Hall Financial, we offer the modern mortgage to create a flexible term that fits your unique financial situation. Our team of mortgage experts are available 7 days a week to review your goals and customize a solution for you. Get started today with a free 5-minute mortgage review at 866-CALL-HALL or chat with us online at callhallfirst.com.
Woodward Sports. Missed part of the show today? Watch again on YouTube or download the podcast anywhere you listen to podcasts.
Hey, ladies and gentlemen out there, you know what? I always like to start it this way. Now, Maz, let me tell you about this. When it's cold outside, do you have heat?
You know it.
Man, when it's warm outside, do you have AC?
It's always cranked
So
up.
that means that it would be essential. You need, it's a necessity, right?
Damn, yes.
So that means the heating and cooling industry is necessity.
Absolutely.
Well, guess what? You want to find out how you can work in this necessary industry. Talking about the heating and cooling industry, ladies and gentlemen, visit northwesterntech.edu so you can find out how you can make $77,000 out the gate. I don't know about you, but it sounds like a career to me. I love a career. Can really set all type of things. Jobs, they come and they go. But careers, they last forever. Visit northwesterntech.edu right now. Figure out how you can do it.
You know, the main mission was to come back, was to beat Ohio State and win a Big Ten championship. And
Hey, Kenny, I'm glad you're in between them.
that's good. And you know,
Please stay there.
Better than his offensive lineman.
Just
okay.
throw him under the bus.
And you know, we did those things, so now we're in the playoffs, so we got a chance.
Shots fired.
Well, there you go. And that was from the Heisman Trophy winning presentation on Saturday night. Of course, Bryce Young, Alabama, took home the top prize.
That wasn't Saturday Night Live?
Not the comedy show. Stan, one of the things I said yesterday was, you know, obviously, when you talk for a living, sometimes you say things that don't land well with the audience and you just kind of move on and chalk it. I don't find that to be malicious. Maybe it didn't land well, but what's your take? I'm surprised how soft Ohio State fans are, but
Yeah, Desmond, nice shot, bro. Well, here's part of the problem. Part of the problem is you guys single blocked Aiden Hutchinson for the entire game. I'm sitting there watching it, and I'm wondering when are they going to start double teaming him? Because how many sacks did he have against Ohio State?
3.
He had 3.
15 pressures.
15 pressures. He was close a lot.
Yeah.
And he was close a lot. I'm like, they're still single blocking him. This is not Rashawn Gary and Chase Winovich.
Yep.
You had better tackles that game. So they don't need to get mad at Desmond. They need to get mad at the offensive coordinator for having those blocking schemes against them. And then to your point,
Ryan Day, by the
they
way?
have had a run of it. And we had to take everything they gave. And so we're not saying, aha, we won one game, now we're back, we're beating our chest. But we did win one game.
Yeah.
And so because we won that one game, we're not going to sit quiet again. When we weren't winning, we didn't say anything. That one game gives us the right to start the conversation
And
back.
honestly, Braylon, too, it wasn't just some spoiler game, right? I mean, this was a game where you win a championship and you get a berth in the college football playoff, essentially. So I think that kind of adds to everything here, too, where Michigan wasn't 8-4 and you're just playing to ruin Ohio State's season, like Purdue or something like that. I mean, that was for something.
Yeah, it was for something, you know, what Aiden Hutchinson did. That game, let me slow down in my rhetoric. That game, and obviously they had to go play in Indianapolis. They had to go seal the deal against Iowa. Iowa is a well-coached team, Kirk Ferentz. I get all that. But that one game, you know what all that set in motion? That set in motion you beat Ohio State. That set in motion going to the Big Ten Championship with, let's call it space. We knew we were going to beat Iowa.
Yep.
Nobody thought Iowa was going to be it. No. That set in motion Aiden Hutchinson going to the Heisman. That set in motion Michigan going to the playoffs. That set all that emotion with one game. He made a comment. The comment is factual. I mean, because if I go back and look at the stats, I can see how many times they got to the quarterback, how many times they were single block, how many times they struggled. And there's been a bunch of jokes made, and we talked about it yesterday. That's why I won't beat a dead horse. At the end of the day, you have a rivalry for a reason. In that rivalry, you have good games, you have bad games, you have a bunch of jokes. Dad and I still joke with guys that we played against or that we played with. that maybe had a bad game against a rival or had a great game. It's a part of the rivalry. He cracked the joke. So what? The only people that deserve to say something to Desmond, if they felt the type of way, is the Downtown Athletic Club of New York, because he is a Heisman winner. If they had a problem, that's between Desmond and them. Everybody else, shut up.
And it got malicious. Let's put it up here with the former assistant coach of the Ohio State Buckeyes put up. Zach Smith had a tweet to Desmond Howard. It said, Desmond Howard is the worst kind of B. I don't want to read it because we are on the radio now.
Technically,
too.
you can say that word. I found out you can say it.
Just
you
in
want me to
case
say
the
it for
kids
you?
are in the car
female
listening.
dog.
Female, yeah. There you go. One, he doesn't study football. 2, or worse, he's dumb, too dumb to comprehend it. 3, he has as much class as Saturday in July. 4, he once said on College Game Day that he was going to choke a bee. That's that word again. What'd you say, female dog?
Female dog.
Yep, there you go, Stan.
Yeah.
Sports media is fascinating at Desmond Howard, and then Desmond Howard quote tweeted that.
This is classic. This is classic.
I see the court-ordered anger management classes aren't working, referring to some legal trouble that Zach Smith got into for domestic violence abuse against his then wife.
Yeah, Zach Smith is the last person who needs to open his mouth about anything. So, again, Ohio State had their run on us for a long period of time, and they said everything, and we had to take it. We had to, because they earned it. And so now things are changing. We can't wait to win the series 5 or 6 more in a row before we're able to talk. It doesn't work that way.
Right.
You know, we won the game. We're talking a little smack behind the game. That's part of the deal. So they need to get over it.
Last 2 things I would say. 1, Zach Smith, shut up. real talk. Like what you're dealing with in your life, shut up. Like you're the type of individual. Like this is playful banter.
Right.
Like you got
That's
real things going on in your life.
Boom.
So shut up and deal with that. I won't say too much about it because it's not my business. Deal with your life because you have real things going on. Second of all, they didn't just beat Ohio State. This isn't some trouble with the snap where they got lucky with a punt or some BS like that. They dominated them in the trenches, offensive and defensive. I saw a play that we haven't shown yet, and I really want to show it. It was one of Hassan Haskins' touchdowns because he had 13 of them. It was legitimately Hassan Haskins, the hole opened up wide. And the safety was one-on-one, and you watch the safety slide behind the linebacker. I can't wait to show you this in the break, and Alex pull it up. The safety slid. You've never seen Ohio State have that type of finesse, that type of scariness in the physical side of the game. That's why Michigan is talking stick, because they didn't just win. They beat Ohio State's you-know-what in the trenches. So I don't want to hear it.
No, to your point, Braylon, if they want to make sure that we don't talk smack, then you need to coach up your players again. Now, we have respect for Ohio State.
100%.
That is not Ohio State.
I only won one time.
That is not Ohio. I won 3, by the way.
I said I ain't say
I won 3.
Excuse me.
And so that is not Ohio State football. So I don't respect that. I respect the hard-nosed football they play. They brought a team up in there, whether they were ready prepared to play or not, and the quarterback, C.J. Stroud, was throwing up his guts all week. I know all the stories that are out there. If you want to not have us say anything, don't bring that kind of play to Ann Arbor.
And that's really what the case is. I just, to have an off-the-cuff comment like that turn into just so malicious online and just kind of invite the trolls to kind of come after someone personally like Desmond Howard and just kind of challenge his manhood essentially in professionalism, I just think is unwarranted.
At the end of the day, I learned this saying from down south players, and this is not a new saying. It's an old saying. It's an old saying, but it's a down south saying. I used to play with Corey Williams. Corey Williams, who played for Detroit Lions, defensive tackle, and he also played for the Cleveland Browns. Whenever we would play tunk, and I would be whooping Corey, and we were obviously playing for money. Whenever he started coming back, his favorite phrase, ain't no fun when the rabbit got the gun. And that's what's going on right now. Michigan has been the hunted for the last 17 years with Ohio State, last 10 years with Michigan State. Now we got the gun, everybody's complaining.
Hey,
Knock it off.
We only said, was Desmond wrong doing what he did? The little slapstick against CJ. You could see, Stan, you can watch it, and you see CJ Stroud is kind of not in the mood for anything that night. And for him to do that there, it might not have been the best thing. But, as far as Zach Smith, I don't count him. He's nothing. He's subhuman, that guy. I don't care about that. Playfulness amongst the teams is cool. I don't know if Dez should have thrown that shade at CJ.
Well, I don't think the shade was actually thrown at CJ. I think it was thrown at the offensive lineman that didn't protect him.
It was.
That's what it was. It put CJ on the spot.
Yeah.
100%. I agree with you there. Yeah, he was a little uncomfortable.
Yeah, he's a kid.
He is a kid.
And now look out for next year, by the way.
Agreed. No, he's going to grow up. He's going to get a lot better too. He's already good.
I love when people say kid. They're not kids anymore. They start that recruiting process when these guys in 8th grade,
right,
9th grade. These guys are making millions of dollars. Quinn Ewers,
everyone's a kid to me.
Dude, Quinn Ewers, who we'll talk about later on where he's going. He was making $1 million this year. Allegedly.
Yeah, right.
They're not kids anymore. And he had a game. If this would have been me on the other side, let's say I had a big game, big season, I'm there, and they said, well, your quarterback wasn't that good. I'm like, you're damn right. But, I mean, it's not that big a deal. Like, he's not mad at the comment. He was pissed all week. You know why he's pissed? Ohio State is used to doing one at this time of year. They're used to being in the playoffs. Right. They're used to being Big Ten champs. They're used to waiting to see if they have a chance to go. Guess what? All that was decided 3 weeks ago. That's why he looks pissed.
A couple of things in regards to college football that I want to get to, and I got to get to a break right now. But two big quarterback transfers. They announced where they were going. I'll let you know where those are. Will Kenneth Walker play in the bowl game? There's some questions about that. You'll hear from Mel Tucker. And just the idea of, I feel as a fan that I am just, the wait from the time the seasons end to the playoff has sucked all life out of me. It is totally,
me too.
My fandom is down here.
Right. My
battery is drained. I feel like I went all the way up here, and now I'm all the way down here. And I need a car battery to get me to 0 to 60.
That's why you need a 12-team playoff.
I'm not disagreeing with it. Ermanni and Edwards.
Woodward Sports Network. The bottom line. That's interesting. I got some stuff about that too.
I'm looking to bring on another HVAC tech right now.
We are recruiting 5 to 10 techs a month.
We're looking to grow and expand. Every new tech we hire is from Northwestern Tech.
The hands-on training is fantastic.
They're always my first call.
We love hiring Northwestern Tech grads.
They come out trained and ready to work.
Our program is only 10.5 months, and our next classes are starting soon. So why wait?
I'm looking to hire
a graduate
of Northwestern Tech.
Northwestern Tech.
Northwestern Tech.
What's the over-under? Should I tease? Who is the lock of the night? Make sure you're watching Woodward Bets to get the latest in sports betting and more. Woodward Bets daily on Woodward Sports.
Hey, gang, I want to let you know about Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men. It's wicked awesome, and it's open 7 days a week from 10 a.m. until 8 p.m. We just saw Darren McCarty get a new haircut. Thank God.
Good,
that Tom Mazawey says.
Got it braided, too.
D-Mac was getting a haircut. He will present that tomorrow on Big D Energy from 11 to 1.
It was wicked awesome.
It was wicked awesome, so he'll present that. All you got to do, guys, walk in, sign in, sit down. Before you know it, you are handsome and clean. Ooh, wee. 7 days a week, 10 to 8. It's wicked awesome.
Wicked awesome. Fish, don't steal my wicked awesome again, man. I'll fight you.
Very good. Guys, couple of things. I got 20 minutes left with Stan, and I got a lot I want to get to.
That's all we got?
That's it. I mean, it's amazing how fast time flies.
Something I want to make sure I get into. I wrote it down. No, I'll just say it now.
Put it in your notes.
Put it in your notepad. Two high-profile quarterbacks on the move. Spencer Rattler going to South Carolina. The head coach there used to be an offensive assistant at Oklahoma. So Rattler and the tight end at Oklahoma go to South Carolina. Remind you, this was supposed to be the #1 player picked in the draft. He was supposed to win the Heisman Trophy and lead Oklahoma to a national championship this year. Instead, he gets benched.
He had his own logo even. Remember, he designed the logo?
That's right.
Wow. He got his NIL money. I mean, he was a disaster this year.
Quinn Ewers, he makes $1 million, goes to Ohio State. C.J. Stroud, the writing's on the wall, so now he goes back to University of Texas. He's going to hook 'em horns with Sark over there, Coach Steve Sarkisian. He's from high school in Texas, so he goes to Texas. Look, man, as much as I said, if the coaches can go anywhere, the players can go anywhere, I hate this. I do hate this.
Yeah, it leaves a bad taste in your mouth because the coaches can go anywhere and anytime they want. That's why I'm okay with
Yeah,
this.
me too.
Some of the money that's going for the NIL, I don't like.
Yeah.
I don't think this is what
Water will find its level, though.
I am
won't it?
100% that the NCAA needed to make the opportunities and situation for players better. Again, I'm going to sound like a broken record. When I used to have to go fly, see him play in the bowl game, I had to pay myself. When I played in the bowl game, Sam and Shirley had to fly to see myself. And I'm at the bowl game, and I'm sitting on the plane. We're going out to the Rose Bowl, and I see other families of coaches and wives and everything who are not part of the university getting their bill paid. So I get that part, so I understand with it. But this is not, in my opinion, what it should be about.
Yep.
Because this is almost like, rewarding players for not earning anything. And I don't. A lot of this I don't like. I do like some of it, but some of it doesn't feel good to me.
Same.
Yeah, shout out to Sam and Shirley. That is my grandmother and grandfather, both still with us. Yeah, with Quinn Ewers, I understand him going to Texas. He actually committed to go to Texas, and then Tom Herman gets fired. So now he pulls his offer. I mean, he pulls his committing back. Says, you know what? I'll go to Ohio State. He goes to Ohio State. Similar situation happened in terms of him getting there and then realizing that C.J. Stroud was damn good. And then like, I can't beat that guy out. I remember Carl Tabb and Jason Vaught telling me, because Carl Tabb and Jason Vaught were recruited my freshman year. I didn't play much my freshman year. I had 3 catches as a freshman. Dad over there laughing. He remembers. Had 3 catches. And they brought in 3 wide receivers in recruiting next year. They brought in Steve Breston, 4th-round draft pick to the Arizona Cardinals. Brought in Jason Avant, 4th-round draft pick to the Philadelphia Eagles. And then they brought in Carl Tabb, who's now a pediatrician, I do believe. Yeah. He's a pediatrician. Yeah. Carl Tabb and Jason told me when they came in after their freshman years, after my sophomore year, if we would have knew you were that good, then we wouldn't have come here. It's the same thing with Quinn Ewers. Quinn Ewers goes there, and then C.J. Stroud has this amazing redshirt freshman year. Quinn Ewers is like, and I'm not waiting behind this. I got to get the hell out of here. It's different than Cade McNamara and J.J. McCarthy. Like, he goes there, he's like, I could beat out C.J. Stroud. Goes there, realizes he can't beat out C.J. Stroud. He's out. So, I mean, I get what they're doing, and I get why he left.
I think the big picture of it for me, and again, I don't have a problem with it because I understand it. But the part of it that I do have a problem with is that it's just like, what are we teaching these kids that anytime something gets hard, anytime...
Hey, look, old school values are done. Man.
I know.
They're
it's
done.
just like...
It's over.
You compete, man.
It's over.
Compete. And if you compete and you come up short, it's okay.
But why are you competing against a guy that just went to the Heisman as a redshirt freshman?
I know.
You see that it's not like C.J. Stroud got to the Heisman just because he had great world beaters, which he does, which was a large part of it. He went there because the boy can play. Even against Aiden Hutchinson and David Ojabo. Oh, he still had 392, no interceptions and 2 touchdowns.
He's terrific.
Thank you. That's something I don't mind him walking out of that.
He's a freak.
No, I get it. I'm not.
So here's what's worth gold in college athletics: eligibility. You only get so many years and so many in a small window to try to live out your dream or get to the next level. Because if you wait someplace and the clock is running and you're not playing, it goes. It goes out the window and you never get that back.
I know it.
Hey, do you think Tom Brady would have used the transfer portal back in the day?
Oh, good one, Matt.
Absolutely.
That's a great one.
Good one, Matt. Great one.
That's
Matt.
a great one.
What do you think?
I think he probably would have. Because as the story goes, and people close to the situation than I, that Drew Henson was promised some things.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, he has to play when he had no business playing. Good quarterback, but he should have played after Tom Brady left.
He's got Steinbrenner representing him. Shoot.
Yeah.
Think about Barry Sanders and Thurman Thomas.
Yeah.
I'm not saying Barry, Barry's not the type of individual to run from anybody, so we know Barry would have stayed. But shoot, Barry could have looked up and said, you know what? Maybe I go Oklahoma instead.
Right. There's no doubt about that, and his dad would have liked that as well. Guys, let me play for you this bite from Mel Tucker, Michigan State head coach. You know, there's talk, and I believe it's a strong belief that Kenny Pickett will not play in the bowl game, the Peach Bowl, New Year's 6 game, Pittsburgh versus Michigan State. Kenny Pickett, will Kenneth Walker play? Here's what the head coach had to say about that.
I'm uncertain, about him. I know he's been battling through some things, and so we'll just have to continue to monitor it. He's not the only one. I mean, it's a fluid situation. We're going to get as many guys prepared and ready to go as we possibly can. If guys feel like they want to play, then they're going to play. If it's in their best interest to play, they'll play. If it's not in their best interest to play, then I'm going to support them.
That was courtesy of Brad Galley, Channel 7 in Detroit. Mel Tucker unsure. And look, we talk about this all the time. I have zero problem with anybody choosing to sit out the bowl game.
Now
zero
you
problem.
do.
Now I do.
Back
now
in
I
the
do.
day.
Back then I didn't. Yeah, but
But in reality, are you okay with them
Yes.
sitting out?
Yes.
Let me just run this by you.
Yep. They're not playing for anything.
I get it. Let's say the Peach Bowl guys that put this game together. It's a New Year's Six game. It's supposed to be a playoff game.
Not supposed to be. It's not.
It's the consolation prize to the playoff game.
Consolation
That's what the New
prize.
Year's Six game
Yeah.
is.
It's a nothing bowl.
So they put this game together. All right, we got Pickett against Walker. Now those guys are out. When
you want them to play?
I don't know how to word it.
You want them to play? I
can
got
word
an
it-
idea.
I can word it for you. If Kenneth Walker and Pickett play in this game and they get hurt, is the Peach Bowl going to play their insurance? Is the Peach Bowl going to play all that money that they may have missed out in the first round or second round? Are they going to pay those things? Are they going to pay those potential sponsors? Are they going to pay those potential sponsorship and endorsement deals that they may have lost as well? No. So at the end of the day, Peach Bowl, my apologies, but they don't have to play.
I got two answers for you. Number one, if the Peach Bowl wants Kenny Pickett and Kenneth Walker to play in that game, pay them.
All right.
They're going to
Okay.
make a crap ton of
Yes.
money. They're going to make a crap ton of money
That's
based
what I'm
on the
trying to tell you.
marketing of this. Also, if you want them to play in the game, expand the playoff to 12 games and make the Peach Bowl a playoff game. As of right now, the Peach Bowl, the Rose Bowl, the Fiesta Bowl, any bowl, Quick Lane Bowl, all on the same level to me. They don't mean anything towards the championship of anything. And if you're a player that's going to be a first-round pick, second-round pick, you don't play.
So here am I now. I'm the bowl guy, right? I'm going to say, all right, we'll put this bowl game together. I'm going to go to the two teams that I want to put in the game. If your players aren't playing in this game, you're not in my bowl game. That's what it's going to come down to.
But it's not up to the players. You can't do that. That's dumb. Like Michigan State was the most talked about team this year in college football, with the exception of Michigan, but only towards the last 3 weeks. Michigan State was talked about all year, whether it was Kenneth Walker winning the Heisman all season or whether it was Mel Tucker. Should he be paid this money and why is he being offered this money? They talked about Michigan State all year. So that's a brand that you want in there. You want that brand for that. Like, you're going to have this team in there. You mean to tell me, because
without
your
their
player,
quarterback.
It's not their quarterback, it's their running back. It's Kenneth Walker.
I'm talking about Pittsburgh.
Yeah, but with Pitt, Pitt got in there by happenstance. Their quarterback made the Heisman. So you know what? We'll make the Heisman guy play against a guy that got snubbed for the Heisman. It's a good look, or it's going to get a look. I understand that.
Who wants to watch that game now?
You can't punt. A lot of people are going to watch it. You're still going to watch it because you still have a great program.
How many Pittsburgh fans want to watch that game?
They're happy they're playing the New Year's Six Bowl, all of them.
New Year's Six? You don't even have your quarterback playing.
It doesn't matter. When's the last time they played in the New Year's Six Bowl? Never.
Whatever,
Never.
man. I don't want to watch
When's
it.
the last time Pitt? Well, you're not a Pitt fan. When's the last
If
time?
I was a Pitt fan, I'd be pissed.
That's bullshit. When's the last time Pitt's been up for a Heisman?
Go ahead and edit that out when we go to radio.
Dorsett. When's the last time Pitt's been in the New Year's Six Bowl?
Dan
Never.
Marino.
Exactly. So you're happy that they're there regardless. Chill out, Max.
No, you chill.
You chill.
Ermanni and Edwards.
Stay out.
Okay.
We'll be right back.
It's that time of the year again. Time for our second annual Stuffer Studio with Woodward Sports. Last year, Metro Detroit came together to help make the largest single toy donation in Mott Children's Hospital history. This year, we make it even bigger. Stuffer Studio is happening December 13th through the 17th at the Woodward Sports Studios in Birmingham. The children in Mott Children's Hospital fight so hard all year. Now it's up to all of us to help bring a smile to their faces. So while you're out holiday shopping, make sure you pick up an extra toy or two and help us spread some love to Metro Detroit this season. We look forward to seeing you December 13th through the 17th as we stuff our studio with Woodward Sports and Myre.
Woodward Sports Network, let's go!
Welcome back, Woodward Sports Network. Ryan Ermanni, Braylon Edwards, Stan Edwards, a.k.a. Santa Edwards, who brought in a bunch of toys here today for our Stuff a Studio campaign.
Stanta.
Stanta,
That's
right.
pretty good.
Tom Mazawey along with us as well. you have some experience with the Jacksonville Jaguars a little bit here too. So I wanted to get to you for this. This Urban Meyer situation seems to be going from bad to worse. Shad Khan was commented today that he says he will not make a hasty decision nor be swayed by emotion when it comes to Urban Meyer. He's not happy that the Jags are 2-11 in Meyer's first season, but he will take a look at all the facts, speak with as many people as possible, and then make a rational decision on what course of action, if any, he might take. I want to do what's best for the team. I want to do the right thing for the city. That, to me, is way more important than just acting helter-skelter on emotion. I think we have a history of really looking at the facts and then hiring the right guy. Gus Bradley got 4 years. Doug Marrone got 4 years. And he goes on to say some more things. But that does not seem to be a ringing endorsement of Urban Meyer.
So I sent Shad Khan a real thick manual for asking to talk to me about consulting for building his organization and picking his next head coach. Had he listened to me, Urban Meyer would have never been the coach there, because Urban Meyer's being Urban Meyer. Urban, this is a money grab for him. If you know anything about him and followed him a little bit, he's going to move around. He's going to do what he wants to do. Good football coach, not a professional football coach at all. I'm not in the least bit surprised on where that team is. I don't see that team getting markedly better unless they just fall into some outstanding players. His coaching there and his influence on that team and culture is not going to get them a championship football.
Dan Orlovsky, Braylon, had this tweet as well, just kind of like the overall encompassing thing, kind of to piggyback off of what you were saying, Stan. Urban Meyer being a head coach in the NFL and Jim Caldwell not is an absolute joke.
First thing you heard Dad say, I told you so. Now y'all see where I get it from. you see where I get it from.
Yeah.
But, yeah, and you can go a lot of different directions with that tweet. You can go to the direction of someone that has experience, someone that knows what they're doing, someone that was on the right track. You can go to the subject of race. However you want to break it down, there's a ton of ways you can go down. But what it all comes down to is Urban Meyer is incompetent. I like the guy. Get your hair right. I see you looking at yourself.
Oh, nice.
It's incompetency. The reason why Urban Meyer is arrogant in college football, or people that are arrogant, is why? It's because they have success. Like, once you've had a level of success, at that level, you own that level. Urban's had a ton of success at the collegiate level, so he has every right to be arrogant. And he's had some great coaches as well. But you hadn't done anything at the professional level. You've never been to the professional level. So you had no reason to walk into the doors like your you-know-what doesn't stink, because right now it does. You haven't done anything. And he's carried that attitude. He's carried that mindset of, I'm Urban Meyer. This is Florida, or this is Utah, or this is Bowling Green, or this is Ohio State. It doesn't matter. No, it does matter. This is the NFL. Things have to change. You can't talk to people a certain way. You're lower on the totem pole than you were in college. Shoot, you're the man in college. Nick Saban's above the AD. It ain't the same case in the NFL. He hasn't been able to adjust to that. And the only reason Shad Khan is saying we're kind of, and we talked about this yesterday, is we'll wait and see, we'll kind of figure it out. It's because he's a great guy, but he's an inexperienced owner. And that's why you see him saying we'll wait, because he doesn't know what the hell to do.
Right. And I will say, too, the Jacksonville Jaguars is not the only team I sent something to. So
I told you so.
You know, part of this too, I would assume, Tom Mazawey, is, you know what happens when you fire a guy after 1 year? You got to eat
it.
You got to eat that contract and then pay somebody else.
Yeah. And it's not only that; it's the good coaches say, do I really want part of this owner who's got a fast, hairy trigger finger, and we just not play well for a myriad of reasons the first year? There could be another coach who will win as many games as Urban Meyer did, but not lose the same way. And most good coaches say, you know what, I don't think I want to go there. I think whoever goes there is going to struggle. And so are they thinking, I'm not struggling there, and then I'm back on the market looking for another job, another home in a year. Yeah. So if you fire him too quick, you will not get another good coach.
And then also with that, when you're in a rebuild or where you're trying to figure some things out like the Jacksonville Jaguars are, like, what's important, obviously, outside of the draft, it's free agency.
Right.
It's free agency.
Yep.
So if you got this mess, if you have this debacle going on, and now you fire your coach or you keep him, you're screwed either way. You fire your coach, you keep him, and everybody's talking about what it is to play in Jacksonville right now. Players that are under contract don't want to be there. Coaches don't want to be there. People that work in the front office don't want to be there. Now you're trying to coerce free agents to come there to help out Trevor Lawrence. to come there and help out the team, you know what? I'll pass. I think I'll take my chances with Dan Campbell and the Detroit Lions. I'll pass. I'll take my chances with insert decent losing football team here.
Right.
Like, they ain't going to Jacksonville. That's the other thing that hurts is the free agency.
How pissed is Urban that Notre Dame and USC is filled right now?
He was a year too late.
Yeah,
Was that
he
something?
was. Yeah.
The two perfect
Fields
jobs
for the
him.
number. Think of the contracts that went out there
Yeah.
too. They're not; those jobs are just not available.
Yeah.
The people that got those jobs, generational wealth.
Yeah, he's got buyer's remorse big time right now.
He's getting $12
in
million
Jacksonville.
from the Jacksonville
Yeah, but
Jaguars.
he's suffering.
No. I was agreeing with you. I
Yeah.
was saying he's getting 12 for the Jacksonville Jaguars. Imagine Urban making 12 for USC. Imagine Urban making 12 at LSU. He would be in his wheelhouse and be getting the same
Notre
money.
Dame would be
He's
the
so
place.
mad right now.
No offense. What about making 6 doing TV?
Right.
I mean, would
He
you
can
rather
still do that, though.
But would you rather make $6 million doing the TV weekly or $12 million doing all this work?
12 because you can figure it out. I think 12 because you can figure it out. Because he's still going to get paid 12 regardless.
Right. Why do you think Jim Caldwell's not in the NFL anymore? Anybody?
9 and 7? I don't know.
No, I don't think it has anything to do with
Game
his record.
management wasn't his best.
I don't know where his health is.
Yeah.
That could be a challenge because that's why he left the Miami Dolphins. He was assistant head coach
Right.
to Brian Flores to kind of help bring him along. Then he had a health challenge, so he had to step back. Don't know where that is. I can't think of anything else because he's one of the most well-liked guys around.
He's one of the
league.
most well-liked. I think the thing that always bothered me about the Caldwell
His
talk.
age?
No, that didn't bother me. But one of the things that always bothered me about the Caldwell talk, and while it's like the low-hanging fruit for guys like Dan Orlovsky, is his record with the Lions was 5-23 against teams with winning records. And when they had an opportunity to beat Green Bay 2 years in a row in the final game of the season, they never got it done. And it just 5-23. It's not like 10-14 or something like that.
Agreed.
It's like,
agreed. But it was with the Detroit Lions,
Right.
and he took them to the playoffs twice.
Sure.
And that franchise
It was a bad call.
In 4 years,
It was
yeah.
a bad call.
Yeah,
as Maz
good.
always says, away from going to the semis and being able to go. They were a team that could have got to the
They
NFC
could have.
Championship, no problem.
They absolutely could have that
So he
year.
was
yeah.
one bad call away.
Hell of a defense, man, that year. Hell of a defense.
Yeah.
So
I know we
don't know.
might only have Dad for a couple more. I want to throw this out there before I forgot. Steph Curry is going to the Mecca, and I know Ryan has something to say about that.
I got something
next
to say about
segment.
that. Bothers me.
But Steph Curry is going to the Mecca tonight, playing against the New York Knicks. They have a chance. Game comes on 7:30. Finally, a game that Steph Curry plays in that's not starting at 10 o'clock Eastern. He has a chance to break the three-point record. And he's put a lot of pressure on himself. I think he put his foot in his mouth because he said he could put 16 threes up in one game when he had 16 to go, and he's in the last 4 games he struggled.
He
because
did 13
you realize
last year, remember?
no, but here's the difference. When you're in the flow of a game and it happens, it can happen organically. You drop 13, you drop 12 for him, not nobody else. But when you tell professionals that, hey, you know what, I can put 16 up when I want to, people like, you know what, I don't care if Jordan Poole has 80. You're not going to do it, and you've seen that. Dad, you told me this one story, and it's one of my favorite stories you ever told me. There was an individual that called his shot, and gosh darn it, he got his shot. He did it. Talk about that, Dad.
So I think it was 1984-85. We're playing I'm with the Houston Oilers, and we're playing the Los Angeles Rams. And it's 2 games left in the season. And Eric Dickerson is about 190 to 200 yards away from 2000 and breaking O.J. Simpson's record. Now, the last game for them is against the San Francisco 49ers, which in the same division. Earlier that year, he only had 60 yards against. Yeah. So the talk was, he's got to get as much as he can against the Oilers, because if he has a shot, he may have, if he's less than 100 yards against the 49ers at the end of the year, he can do that. So we're playing them, and he's rolling a little bit, but we're hitting them pretty good. And we knew they were going to feed him the ball to get as much as he can. And so we got to the point where we're starting to hit him under the pile, poke him under that. And Keith Bostic, former Michigan, that punched him under the pile. Eric Dickerson got up and slammed the ball down and said, "I'm getting it today." He went for 215 and broke the record against us.
He wasn't having it.
No.
Did you ever see anybody that wore more equipment than?
Oh no!
than
And
him?
in fact, he had a pad for every part of his body.
He looked great.
What happened to the neck roll? in football.
He could only wear.
Josh Ross is the only person I've seen with a neck roll in the last 20 years. I don't know.
Like, what happened
if
to
you
the
think
neck
about
roll?
it,
Style.
since the neck
Style
roll
and
has gone
fashion.
out of style, concussions have gone up.
Yeah.
That's crazy how that happens.
shoot.
Eric Dickerson, man, he
Style and fashion.
He wore it perfectly, didn't he?
Oh,
he
yes,
looked
he did.
perfect.
Yeah, he was special.
Style and fashion. You're on Instagram and you look. It don't look that cool watching Josh Ross wear a neck roll, but it does look cool when you watch players play without pads and all the Nike wristbands and all that. It's all about fashion. It's all about style. Insert Deion Sanders.
Any parting words for us here, Stan?
Hey, man, this has been a great run, great year. We got how many more before the end of the year? Before
One more.
One more. Look forward to it.
Look at that.
Yeah.
We got it. Stan Edwards, everybody, or as Maz calls him, Santa Claus. Thanks for the contribution here to our Stuff in Studio campaign for Mott Children's Hospital. Buddy, we are going to take a break. When we come back, top of the hour, we're going to get into some MVP talk. Is Tom Brady the front runner?
Or is it someone else that doesn't play quarterback?
Oh, is this a Maz guy?
This is a Maz guy.
All right, Ermanni and Edwards.
Woodward Sports Network, the bottom line.
Booyah.
Okay, you thirsty little spin goblins. I want you to pedal into the next dimension. Spin it! Spin! Spin! Uh-oh! Carmen's falling behind. Let's give her the hiss of shame. Spin! Spin! Spin till you bleed!
Don't ride the bike of shame. Come to Planet Fitness and find your own lane with tons of equipment, free fitness training, and no hissing. Join today for just $10 a month.
The pros know. Go! Listen Monday through Friday for Big D Energy Live on the Woodward Sports Network with Stanley Cup champ Darren McCarty, former Lion Joik Bell, and the silky voice of Neil Rule.
There you go. Thank you, Fish.
Attaboy.
Fish is busy moving our studio around, but here we are for the folding warehouse. You don't need a microphone.
There's too many toys to put the chair. I can't move the chair. There's too many toys around.
You're doing great there, Stick. Just keep it up. Sam, when are you starting again? No.
Very soon.
I'm only joking. The folding warehouse in Hamtramck. You got to go and see it. What is folding? It's simple. It's throwing a football at bowling pins. You play team against team, one against one, any way you want to do it. The first one to knock down all 10 pins wins it. If you knock the 5 pin down all by itself, you win it. It's called a bonk, and they'll only on the bonk, and they have the loud foghorn from the ship. It sounds great there. Go see Chris and Noni Hut in Hamtramck. There's a couple ways you could play. 2 ways: $10 unlimited open play or a private lane reservation. They have over 100 beers and a $2 mystery beer machine as well. Multiple full bars, and you can bring your own food in or have it delivered. Go get your fold on at the Folding Warehouse. Check them out at foldingwarehouse.com.
Ermanni and Edwards, the bottom line, Woodward Sports Network. Thanks so much for taking time out of your day to check us out on YouTube, on Twitter, Spotify, the app, wherever you may be watching and or listening. We certainly appreciate it here. And don't forget, you can find us on 93.5 The Roar, 99.1 and 94.7 HD2 FM. That from 6 to 8:30 p.m. weeknights on those 3 radio stations. I wanted to get into a little quarterback talk with you.
It's a nice jersey over there, by the way.
I did not even mention this. Sam.
Hello? What happened?
Sam, can you come here for a minute? I have a jersey over here. Can you just kind of hand that to me?
Here you go.
So Braylon comes in today. Braylon comes in with
Braylon Claus.
It was Braylon Claus today. Here,
Branta.
Braylon, talk us through this because I'm going to stand up.
Oh, my apologies. So Christmas has come up. It's Christmas holiday, as well as we just finished our 4-month anniversary of the bottom line on Woodward Sports on Sunday. So I got stuff coming for Fish. I got stuff coming for Alex. But
turn around now.
I know Maz is a big New York guy. So I gave him the last New York Jets jersey that I had. You can tell it's old because it still has the Reebok sign on it.
Yeah.
Oh,
So
yeah.
this is official when I played back there for them. And then Ryan's the big Michigan homer, as you all know at home. So he got the Michigan jersey. So not happy birthday, but Merry Christmas and happy 4th month anniversary to my guys.
Thanks, Brad.
Braylon, why didn't you give him the Browns jersey?
I don't think anybody wants that one.
And if I may, the reason why I'm wearing the
Hard
Jets
to give that one
jersey
away.
and not the Michigan jersey
I'll take it.
is because the Michigan jersey is so tight to my body.
The funny thing is, but that's how they are. Like, that's authentic.
Yeah.
Like, that's how long it takes us forever. That's why when we come into the locker room on game day or even on practice day, like the equipment managers, that's why equipment managers do so much great stuff for the football team or to teams, period. NHL, MLB, NBA, they all do amazing jobs. They legitimately put our jerseys over our shoulder pads so that when the game comes, it's easy for us to just kind of pull them over and then pull our straps up. So and that's how it really is.
Right. Because you don't want anybody to grab the jersey and pull you down.
Yep.
They can't grasp the jersey.
Unless they wear 99 for the Los Angeles Rams.
Named Aaron Donald.
Jesus Christ.
There's no doubt about that. I want to ask you about Tom Brady. He's having one hell of a season, and many people believe he is the front runner to win the MVP award. And for those who don't know what the MVP is, that means most valuable player. The dude is 44 years old. And he's playing
his best season ever.
Not only is he playing, he's playing at the highest level of anybody really at that position. There's really only one other guy, and that's Aaron Rodgers that is in this conversation, I believe.
He's playing on one foot.
So Tom Brady looking to become the oldest player ever to win the MVP award in any sport.
He's already
Tom Brady.
Break his own record.
Except when, he's looking to become the oldest player ever to win the MVP, the first since Tom Brady
Jesus
when he
Christ,
was 40.
Barry Bonds is great.
I mean, what would this mean, I guess, overall? I don't even know how to quantify what Tom Brady does anymore.
Right.
It's nothing. He's in his own book. He's got his own book now.
Sure. He's got his own book, but how do you even talk about it reasonably? It's just so unheard of.
There'll never be another one. That's how you talk about it.
What happens with certain individuals, and you can insert LeBron James into this category. He definitely deserves it. You can insert Serena Williams into this category. You can insert Tiger Woods a couple years ago in this category. You can insert Michael Jordan into this category. When individuals, or even Nick Saban or Bill Belichick, when individuals get older, like people start to get tired. And you start to get frustrated with these individuals because they've been at that pinnacle for so long. And then they've broken so many records and they've done so many things. Like, you start to look at the records that they're doing and what they're doing. It's like, oh, it's Tom Brady. Of course he's going to do it. Oh, yeah. You're tired. You start to take away from what an individual is doing because you're tired of that individual, because you think their greatness has already been glorified enough. You got to break it down, man. What Tom Brady is doing it's ridiculous.
Yeah,
it's ridiculous at the level that he's doing it at. And this is the one thing I would say about this season. It's not like he's playing on the team that we were promised at the start of the year in terms of how good that defense was in the playoffs, in terms of what that defense did to back Tom Brady. Tom Brady struggled in the second half of the Green Bay game. Let's call a spade a spade. Tom Brady struggled in the second half, like in spots in the Super Bowl. But that defense played so well the whole Super Bowl. Just look at the Washington football team game. But that defense plays so well, and we thought we were going to see that defense in August till now. We haven't. They struggled on defense pretty much this whole season in Tampa. Tom Brady is the reason why they are where they are. The defense has played better in the last 3 weeks, but Tom Brady is where they are. They're where they are because of Tom Brady. With that being said, so are the freaking Green Bay Packers, and that's why it's like you're splitting hairs.
I just don't see myself, if it came down to it, betting against Tom Brady. Maz, you more than anybody said it over the weekend when you said, if you're the Buffalo Bills, you got to go for this on 4th down and 2 because you cannot give that guy a chance.
Yeah, I gave up. You can't beat him. You can't beat him. I mean, let's face it. He could almost be undefeated in the Super Bowl. Had to be for 2 great plays by the Giants receivers. It's unbelievable.
Asante Samuel dropped that interception in the first one against the Giants that they would have got the ball, but he dropped it in his hands. They would have got the ball back with 3 minutes and milked the clock out. So you're right.
I give up trying to beat this guy. He is the MVP, and there's not even a question about it. Aaron Rodgers will finish second in that MVP ballot this year. But you know what? When it comes down to it this year, I truly believe it in my heart that Green Bay will beat them and get in the Super Bowl and win it.
See, I don't think Aaron Rodgers is in the conversation for, obviously his play on the field, he'll get.
He's never going to get it because of what happened with the COVID.
That's exactly right.
He knows that. Remember, he laughed about it with Pat McAfee? He laughed about it.
There's going to be voters who just don't vote for him because of their stance on the vaccine.
It's Tom's anyway.
Yeah. Perhaps. With a month to go, there's a lot that could happen in the next month.
Who else could beat him? Matthew Stafford, maybe, if he goes unbeaten the rest of the way?
Micah Parsons can beat him. Micah Parsons.
That's my guy, man.
12 sacks. First of all, let's start here. Micah Parsons is the individual that plays off the ball. He plays linebacker. He doesn't play on the line of scrimmage. He doesn't play defensive end. He doesn't play interior defensive tackle. He plays off the line of scrimmage. He plays linebacker. Let's start there. He moves on the line of scrimmage when they need him to. He moves as rush in when they need him to. He moves into drop back coverage when they need him to. The Dallas Cowboys offense has been pedestrian, has struggled the last 7 weeks of the season. Something happened with Dak Prescott, and maybe it's his injury. Maybe it's the calf, or maybe it's the ankle that he almost tore off last year. Something along those lines. He has not been the same. But you know what has stayed consistent? Because, yes, Randy Gregory is back, but Randy Gregory's been back for 1 game. Yes, DeMarcus Lawrence is back, but DeMarcus Lawrence is back for 2 games. But you know what's been consistent even when Trayvon Diggs disappeared? There was a guy that wore number 11, and his name is Micah Parsons. 12 sacks he has with 4 games left to go. 2 forced fumbles, 1 fumble recovery, 1 interception. Need I go on? The reason why the Dallas Cowboys are even still in talks of being in the NFC Championship, because they're going to make the playoffs because they're going to win the NFC East. The reason why they're still in NFC Championship talks is because of Micah Parsons, who is in year 1. No, he's not going to be Aaron Rodgers or Tom Brady, but he needs to be the 3rd person invited as a finalist, just like we're talking about who needs to get to the Heisman. He needs to be a finalist because what he's doing is insane, and he's the reason why the Dallas Cowboys are still relevant.
I got nothing more on him. I said I wanted him in the draft or a quarterback. I love Penei Sewell as a player. I think he's going to be a perennial All-Pro, and I'll still say it to this day. This guy or a quarterback would have been the pick at that pick for the Lions. Maybe you couldn't lose, as Brad Holmes was. You couldn't lose because you got a great kid. You got a 20-year-old tackle that's going to play for a long time, barring injury.
Highest ranked tackle
but you
in the
had
NFL
nobody
right
on the defensive side of the ball. You could have had Micah, and now this year, who could you have paired him with?
Yeah.
And where would that put you next year?
Well,
you already had 2 All-Pros on the offensive line.
I understand
but
that.
I get knocked down completely by anyone on Twitter or anyone here in this
Don't worry
building.
about them.
My own people here make fun of me for saying I'd rather have Micah Parsons.
Yeah.
Fish, stop making fun of me moving my hands.
I don't disagree with you.
Knock it off, Fish.
The one area where this thing, just kind of is
what it is
that Penei Sewell was the number 1 offensive tackle in pro football this week. Not rookie offensive tackle. He was the number 1 offensive tackle last week. And it seems like he is in that top 3 each and every week. You are, and I thought this thing was going to be a disaster when he moved to right tackle. I watched the preseason. Boy, I was wrong on that. This guy looks like he's every bit the All-Pro that they were jumping up and down for. I understand that if you're going to miss on Parsons, at least miss with a Hall of Fame caliber guy, right? I mean, you're taking care of an area of need for sure.
You know what Stan told me on his way out the door?
That you're handsome.
That Micah Parsons reminds him of somebody.
Lawrence Taylor.
My guy.
Yep.
I'm never going to put anyone in his class, but you know what? That coming from Stan, I dig it.
Who played against Lawrence Taylor. And the other thing about it is, when you say someone graded at a certain level, and people are like, oh, well, it's just 1 week. Yeah, he graded. He had a good game. Listen, I've been there. I've done that. You can have a good game and not grade well. Like, I've had games where I've had 150 yards, 2 touchdowns, and graded out as a 77 or graded out low. So the fact that he's grading at 91, the fact that he's the highest graded player per week, that goes beyond having a good game. That goes into a level where I was on my job, I was detailed and focused for 60 minutes. That is tough to do. So you got to give Penei Sewell a lot of credit for the work that he's putting in, especially towards the end of the season.
Guys, I want to talk about Todd McShay's mock draft. He has the Lions taking a quarterback in the first round. I'll tell you why that's almost necessary. We'll do it next. Ermanni and Edwards.
Woodward Sports Network, the bottom line.
Fellas, football season is here. It's time to make your grooming experience easy like Sunday morning. Get to Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men. Walk in, relax, watch your favorite team play, and before you know it, your hair will be game ready. Get to Lady Jane's, open 10 to 8, 7 days a week. Walk in anytime. It's wicked awesome.
Make sure you download the Woodward Sports app in the App Store and the Google Play Store today. Take Woodward Sports with you wherever you go and listen live on your phone or mobile device.
Hey gang, I want to let you know about Les Stanford Chevrolet Cadillac, located on Michigan Avenue in the great city of Dearborn. You want to buy a car? They've got one for you. They just got a couple of truckloads full of Blazers. Maz is going to go pick one up, absolutely drive off in style. Or maybe you want something else. On their pre-owned lot, any make, any model, they've got it for you. And maybe you don't want to buy a car. Maybe you want to sell them your car. That's right. That's an easy process as well. Drive on in to Les Stanford Chevrolet. Say, I want to sell my car. You know what? You're coming up on your miles. You don't want to go over. Maybe you're leasing it. That's okay. Les Stanford is your authorized lease return center. They can take that car off your hands. Authorized. All you got to do is...
No chip shortage.
That is right. Don't worry about that chip shortage over at Les Stanford Chevrolet. LesStanford.com. LesStanford.com.
They
Call
make
them
their
today.
own chips.
That's right. 313-565-6000. They do not. 313-565-6000. Les Stanford Chevrolet. Find new roads.
I saw Kennedy's ride today.
You did?
Yeah,
Kennedy,
it's good looking. Good looking ride.
Kennedy is a customer of Les Stanford Chevrolet. Guys,
She found new roads.
She did find new roads. She is finding new roads, that's for sure. I want to do this Todd McShay mock draft, if I can. Okay?
Is this mock 2.0?
I think this is mock 1.0.
Okay.
Yeah, it's 1.0.
1.0.
His first
Yeah.
one.
So Todd McShay has Aiden Hutchinson go to the Lions, #1 overall pick. Okay? That's and again, that's going to be a 4-month Hutchinson, Thibodeau. You're going to hear about it for the next 4 months. So,
and then probably two people will creep into there randomly, like they always. Cal Hamilton might come up.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Todd McShay's first mock draft has 5 quarterbacks going in the first round. 5 quarterbacks going in the first round. Sam Howell is the 5th of 5 quarterbacks going in the first round. Nobody in the top 10, I might add. No quarterback in the top 10.
Pickett, this first one at 12.
Yeah, Sam Howell, though, 5th. Kenny Pickett going the first quarterback taken. But Sam Howell from North Carolina is the 5th quarterback taken in this mock draft going to the Detroit Lions, which is great, okay?
Is he going to be like Mac Jones? We'll take it.
Well, that's the thing. I want to preface what I'm about to say.
Last quarterback taken, I meant.
And I know I'm not, Braylon, I'm not breaking any news.
No, go ahead.
I am not a talent evaluator.
What?
It is not my job to tell you whether Sam Howell is going to be a great quarterback, a starting quarterback, a backup quarterback, or anything. All I can do is give my opinion. I don't have to be right on this. But what I'm saying is I watched Sam Howell play football 3 or 4 times this year. Sam Howell, to me, is not a first-round pick and will not be the leader of a franchise and get you to where you want to go. That's my opinion on it.
No, that's a very accurate opinion. I've watched the Sam Howell a couple times. Well, he reminds me of a Timothy Tebow. He reminds me of a Taysom Hill, a guy that can run with the football, a guy that's a heck of an athlete, actually a bruiser, if you want to be honest. He's a strong guy. He's a physical individual. He could throw the ball a little bit, but and rightfully so to him. You have to give him some credit. He's lost a lot this year with the draft. They lost 2 running backs. Obviously, you're seeing one of them play for the Denver Broncos. As Stick pointed out last week, they lost 2 wide receivers that started as well. So you got to give him a little bit of credit for what he's able to do. But he's not the guy. He's not a guy that I would hope the Detroit Lions drafted. If anything, you want to look at a situation. Maz and I kind of talked about this off air, and I apologize if you're watching. Don't worry. I'm going to get my headset right by the time January rolls around. But you look at the Giants. The New York Giants have 5 and 7 in this upcoming NFL draft. You have 2 first-rounders as well. You have 2 second-rounders as well. You have a lot of draft capital. Oh, by the way, and you have a guy in Jared Goff. Work some magic. Brad Holmes, what we heard from you, we heard you were extremely good at picking out talent, at scouting, at making deals, working those front office moves, especially as the time April rolls around when you're starting to make those deals. We want to see it. We need to see it because I think there is a deal or deals to be done in the NFL around that time. I think, would I like a Daniel Jones? How about you trade Daniel Jones for Jared Goff, and maybe we give you this first round, and we sweeten the pot with this second round draft pick as well? Because I believe we picked 33. So that's a very quick pick in the second round. So there's a lot on the table for the Detroit Lions to be able to do. And this is when you know, and this is when you can tell if an organization gets it. If a guy in the front office, being Brad Holmes, if he understands his spot and when he understands the Detroit Lions need, because there's a lot there, it's a lot for to be done.
The Lions have some great maneuverability about the draft this year and next. So what they've got to do, and I'm not breaking any news here, they've got to decide what quarterback they think or they believe or they project to be that quarterback that's going to be their franchise quarterback. Is that Sam Howell? I don't think so. Maybe they do. I was wrong about Justin Herbert as well. I was not a guy that said, oh, they've got to go draft Justin Herbert. I was a Tua guy.
But you got to, the one thing you weren't wrong about, you got to win in college. Like that's the one common denominator that all successful quarterbacks have. You got to win in college. I don't care about the stats. I don't care about all the other stuff. You got to win. You look at Russell Wilson. Like, he didn't win a national championship. He won the Big Ten. He beat Ohio State to do so, as well as Nebraska and Michigan State. Deshaun Watson, he won. He beat Alabama and the mythological Nick Saban. You got to win. Sam Howell's not winning.
Right.
North Carolina, even when they had talent last year, they were just okay. The winning quarterbacks in college, they win in the NFL. Peyton Manning, Tom Brady, list goes on.
6 losses for Sam Howell
That's
this
too
year.
many.
4 of them on the road.
That's too many.
Way too many. I will say this. You got to scout the quarterbacks this year.
Justin Herbert won the Rose Bowl, by the way.
And you got to scout the quarterbacks next year. You know, next year, you're going to have Bryce Young available.
C.J. Stroud.
You're going to have C.J. Stroud available. And while you might not be – look, how many games are the Lions going to win next year? Not many, right? Maybe you win 5.
8.
Maybe you win 5.
I say 8.
Oh, well, if you win 8, you're still talking. But again, if you win 8, you've got 2 first-round picks and that second-round pick. Yeah. If you identify a quarterback that you believe is going to be your franchise quarterback, you have the maneuverability to then package something up and trade up to get a guy like that.
Don't forget our secret weapon, Bray. Mike White in New York.
Yeah.
The Jets' backup quarterback.
Here's the deal.
Who threw for over 400 yards. Yeah, he got benched a couple weeks later.
First game ever.
No.
He threw 3 interceptions or 4 interceptions.
He was not going to work.
What do you mean it's not going to work?
Yeah, I'm telling you, it's not going to work. It's not going to work. Mike White is not going to work. Sorry.
But if you're getting him for nothing, what does it matter?
Well,
how do you know?
I'll tell you how I know.
I'm not saying you're giving up a first-round pick for Mike White. I'm saying, like, you give up, I don't know, 2 third-round picks.
I'll tell you how I know.
You don't have to give up that much.
Let me talk to you. The Lions have to draft a quarterback in the first round. They absolutely have to draft a quarterback in the first round, either this year or next, and I'll tell you why.
It's going to be next.
Okay, that's fine.
It's going to be next.
This is a long process. They don't have to do it this year.
They can get Kenny Pickett.
They have to do it next year. The Lions, to be successful, have to draft a quarterback in the next 2 years in the first round, this year or next, and I'll tell you why. You ready?
I'm ready.
Of the 8 division leaders, if you look at the standings right now, 8 division leaders, how many teams would you say have first-round picks at quarterback?
Well, let's go down. Patriots,
Mac Jones,
Dolphins,
Lamar Jackson, Patrick Mahomes, Ryan Tannehill. In the AFC, the 4 teams that are in first place have first-round picks. In the NFC, Dak Prescott, Aaron Rodgers, Tom Brady, and Kyler Murray. The 4 teams.
3 out of 4.
No, I'm saying 2 out of 4.
2 out of
Dak
4,
Prescott was a 4th-round pick.
Right. Tom was at 7.
And Tom was a 6th-round pick.
6.
So 6 of the 8 division leaders right now.
And one's a unicorn.
And one's a unicorn.
One's a unicorn.
There's a first-round pick. If you don't like that, how about we go to the second-place teams in the NFL? In the second-place teams, Josh Allen, Baker Mayfield, Carson Wentz, Justin Herbert.
They all sound like first-rounders to
All
me.
first-round picks. And then in the NFC, Taylor Heineke, undrafted. Kirk Cousins, a 4th-round pick. And then you've got Matt Ryan and Matt Stafford, 2 first-rounders. So you've got 12 of the 16 quarterbacks that are first place and second place on first and second place teams are first-round quarterbacks.
And the Dolphins are close as well, and they have Tua, another first-round pick.
I'm just saying, you've got
right as well.
you've got one undrafted guy,
Carson
Taylor
Wentz,
Heineke.
too.
Carson Wentz, a first-round guy.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
I mean, they're really you need one.
You gotta draft a quarterback in the first round. Tom Brady's a unicorn. Taylor Heineke is a unicorn. And then you've got the 2 4th-rounders in Kirk Cousins and Dak Prescott.
And then to your point, and in Dak Prescott, and Taylor Heineke, and in what was the other one? That wasn't. It was Dak Prescott, Taylor Heineke, and Kirk Cousins. You also see non-first-round draft pick behavior. Nobody trusts Kirk Cousins, no matter what he's done. I like him a lot, but most people don't trust him. You look at Taylor Heineke. You saw
know about him
You
yet.
saw the chinks in the armor.
Yeah.
You saw it last week. You saw that he's not a first rounder. And Dak Prescott, $75 million. He ain't looking like $75 million. You see that he wasn't a first round quarterback to what you were saying.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 of those guys are top 10 picks. 9 of the 16 are top 10 picks. Okay,
you have draft capital, man. I'm telling you, there's a way in which you can get Aiden Hutchinson and Kenny Pickett. It's all about what do you want to do?
What are you willing to do? Now, would you take? Can we continue on with this? Because I got another scenario for you.
I'm good.
Ermanni and Edwards.
Woodward Sports Network, the bottom line.
I'm looking to bring on another HVAC tech right now.
We are recruiting 5 to 10 techs a month.
We're looking to grow and expand. Every new tech we hire is from Northwestern Tech.
The hands-on training is fantastic.
They're always my first call.
We love hiring Northwestern Tech grads.
They come out trained and ready to work.
Our program is only 10.5 months, and our next classes are starting soon. So why wait?
I'm looking to hire
a graduate
of Northwestern Tech.
Northwestern Tech.
Northwestern Tech.
Woodward Sports. This part of the show today? Watch again on YouTube or download the podcast anywhere you listen to podcasts.
Helps out Georgia.
Hey, gang, I want to continue on with this because of the Todd McShay Todd McShay mock draft where he has the Lions selecting Aiden Hutchinson first overall, and he's got Sam Howell, the quarterback from North Carolina, being selected with the 25th.
I don't want another Mitchell Trubisky. That's all I'm saying.
I definitely don't want that either. The player that he has going 2 spots after Detroit is Chris Olave, the wide receiver from Ohio State. Can you imagine a first round of Hutchinson and Olave? I mean, would that
He can't go that long. There's no way he lasts that long.
Or Hutchinson Dotson from Penn State.
I like Jahan Dotson.
You like him?
I've liked him all year. You think about this. Jahan Dotson, once Sean Clifford got healthy. Like, you know what? Let's bring Alex in on this. Alex, you watched the Penn State-Michigan State game, right? That was the last time either one of those teams played. How good did Jahan Dotson look? And I understand Michigan State secondary, but it didn't matter. How good did Jahan Dotson look that game?
He looked very good, and like you said, our cornerbacks are not something to write home about, but he did a great job of getting separation. His crossing routes were great, and he showed great speed and burst in a Snow Bowl game. Jahan Dotson's a real deal.
So they have McShay has Olave and Dotson going 28-29. So
I'll tell you what, I'll take any of the Ohio State guys. Whatever scrap is left, I would take them.
Maybe you can get one of those guys.
At the same time, you still have draft capital. Dills can be worked. Like, just because you're at a position now doesn't mean that's the position you stay at. There's a lot of wiggle room that the Detroit Lions have, and it's about the other team's necessities, other teams' needs, and can you make a deal happen? Just imagine if somehow they can get that 7th pick from the Giants. So now they're sitting there with 1 and 7. Like, there's things that you can make happen. You can move up or move down in the draft. Hell, what if they move down from the number 1 pick overall? The Lions have a lot of wiggle room with their draft capital, as well as, moving maybe a Jared Goff. So,
There's still a chance they might not pick one. They might steal a game here in the next 4 games.
Not from these 3 teams.
Yeah, I don't see that happening. But if they do, then as far as they fall is what, 3?
Yeah.
So maybe they screw themselves out of that, and then end up with Kyle Hamilton, then the safety from Notre Dame, which isn't the worst thing in the world either.
Would you rather pick first or second, third?
First. I'd rather you have the capital.
First, because you have first and 20. You have first and 23. So you legitimately have so much more wiggle room. If you just had first, now it's like, do we move down? Do we add something to the draft? You're always looking to add something to what you do, especially in the first couple of rounds. They already have it.
Right.
So you want to have that pick. You got to keep the first round pick, because now you may negotiate that and say, you know what? We don't want Aiden Hutchinson. We might end up giving away our first pick, and we may sneak 2 more first round picks.
I think it's easier trading the 2 or 3 pick than it is that 1 pick.
If there's a quarterback at the top that somebody wants, there's
nobody there.
There's no player at the top of this draft that somebody's going to want. Let me rephrase that. There's no player at the top of this draft that somebody's going to want to trade up to get.
Yeah, exactly.
That is so desperate to get that quarterback. Now, if you got 10, 11, 12, and you desperately want a quarterback, you're sitting at 17, 18, and you identify Kenny Pickett as your guy, maybe you trade up to 10. But you're not trading up to 2, 3, or 1 to get Kenny Pickett, right? Is that
That's
fair?
A fact.
So because of it's so great, when you do all these mock drafts. Take a quarterback in the 4th round or take a quarterback in the 2nd round. It doesn't work like that, folks. This is the sheet.
Yeah.
All these teams that are in 1st and 2nd place have 1st round quarterbacks, with the exception of 4 of them. 12 of the 16 teams have 1st round quarterbacks, and you throw Tom Brady in there, who's the unicorn, and Dak Prescott, who there were questions about. I don't know what the questions were, but there were questions about him. That guy's a 1st round pick if the draft is held
The New York Giants have 5 and 7. If you look at Todd McShay's mock draft, he has them drafting Karlaftis, who's an amazing DN outside at Purdue, and then he has them drafting Nakobe Dean, who Michigan will see in a couple of days against Georgia. Nakobe Dean's the Dick Butkus Award winner for linebacker. So they're going defense. Everybody knows their defense is trash in New York. They got to go defense and some offensive line. Maybe the Giants hey, you know what? We like Aiden Hutchinson. We have a good track record with Michigan players. We just talked about that. Maybe they want to move up. Now you move down. That's what I say I love when you have this type of positioning and this type of piece with 1st, 23, a couple other picks in the 2nd as well as the 4th. Because now you have a lot of capital to do a thing and move up and down and move all around.
The Giants have 2 in the top 10. The Jets have 2 in the top 10. The Eagles have 2 in the top 10. 3.
2 in the top 10.
Yep.
But 3 1st round
Isn't that
picks, the
something?
Eagles.
Eagles,
based on some trades
the
that
Eagles
they
are going to be movers and shakers in this draft.
They're going to get good players.
They're going to get good fast.
They're going to get good players. Are they going to get franchise altering players? I don't know. They might not need them. They just need to solidify what they have, because the Eagles are playing pretty darn good football right now.
If I'm Brad Holmes, I would have been on the phone, and I'm not saying he hasn't, so don't take my words the wrong way. If I'm Brad Holmes saying he hasn't already, I'd have been on the phone with the Philadelphia Eagles GM and president for the last 6-7 weeks.
Like, who do you want?
He wants Jalen Hurts.
No. I don't. I like Jalen Hurts, but I just think they put him in bad spots. Just kind of like Baltimore Ravens, to be honest. They put too much on his plate. We gave the whole plate analogy with Lamar Jackson. They do the same thing in Philly, but he's not that good, and neither are they.
That's the one thing about this draft, though, Braylon. I mean, there's no Jamar Chase in this draft. There's a lot of really good wide receivers, but there's no.
Well, I mean, if we're going to sit here,
excuse me, there doesn't seem to be a Jamar Chase. There's like the Olaves and the Dotsons, really good players. But is there that guy? I mean, there's 5 quarterbacks, but is there a Mac Jones?
But was anybody saying that about Jamar Chase before he got drafted? With the exception
I don't know.
of Joe Burrow.
Yeah.
With the exception of him, who was his quarterback. Was anybody saying that? We knew coming into the season what Chris Olave can do. We knew how good they've been all year. And obviously he's got overtaken by Jackson Smith and Jigba. But that's because Jackson Smith and Jigba does everything for that team in Ohio State, or team down there in Columbus, whatever you want to call him. Like, he's still a really good wide receiver, and I think if you put him in the right spot, to your point, Jamar Chase is freaking amazing.
Again, just like Mel Kiper too, in that, like, these things, like they just trend.
They move things around because they want clicks. They want suckers like us to talk about
No,
it.
what I'm saying is, like, the NFL itself, like, it just goes in trends. I mean, there was a year with so many running backs are taken. And then this year, Mel Kiper had no running backs taken in the first round. McShay has no running backs taken in the first round. It really has become
amazing.
And we did this topic a while back. There's no point in drafting a a running back in, like, the top 10. Or in
the first round in general.
Period. Because of the two, so many people have definitely two running backs. There's no more one running back. Yeah. Even Dallas has two guys that they go with.
Except Zeke, Jonathan, and Derek.
Kamara?
I was name a running back in Kamara that's first round. Yeah. Name a running back that's not second or third or fourth. You can find running backs all over the place, man. Like, they're hidden gems now. I remember the draft that started the trend that was going to set in motion in terms of wide receivers being the focal point. Obviously, D tackles, outside linebackers, and tackles and O linemen, they'll always be the main focus. But I knew when the wide receivers were taking over. The year before me, 7 wide receivers were taken in the first round. Broke the record. And it's happened once since then. 7 wide receivers were taken in the 2004 draft, led by Larry Fitzgerald, Roy Williams, Lee Evans. See if I can figure out.
Oh, Lee Evans. Remember Lee Evans?
See if I can name them all. Michael Jenkins from Ohio State was another one. Rashawn Woods, Oklahoma State was another one. Reggie Williams from Washington. I think I just named them all.
Dang.
And Matt Jones, who was a quarterback at Arkansas, converted to wide receiver. That was the draft that set that in motion, and ever since then has been at least 4 every year.
It's crazy. Yeah. Also, guys, transition to some Pistons talk. How about Dave Bing?
Ooh.
With some pretty explosive. What's the adjective I want to use to describe it?
Nutty?
With a pretty surprising statement about Cade Cunningham and whether or not he believes the Pistons can and should build a team around him. We'll have those comments for you next. Ermanni and Edwards.
Woodward Sports Network, the bottom line.
Hi, I'm David Hall from Hall Financial. Did you know mortgage rates are still at generational lows? If you haven't refinanced your home loan yet, there's still time. Now is your second chance to refinance. You could lower your monthly payment, eliminate credit card debt, or even take cash out by using your home's equity. Call Hall Financial now to get started with your free 5-minute mortgage review. 866-CALL-HALL or chat with us online at callhallfirst.com.
Catch. Follow us everywhere. Just search Woodward Sports on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, IG, and more.
It is that time of day. You know what? I actually have to apologize. Adam, Mike, the studio, I do apologize because I was getting something wrong. I knew I had to go back through my Gypsy Vodka notes. I had to go back and taste it again and figure out I'm saying something wrong. You know what I was saying wrong? Gypsy Vodka is corn distilled 6 times with artisanal spring water. How was I messing that up? I was saying it's 2 separate things.
Thinking, Braylon?
Gypsy Vodka is infused. It is corn distilled 6 times with artisan
not
spring
5,
water.
not 7.
How
Not
about
6.
that for getting back on track?
Not 7.
That's what I'm talking about. 50 different formulas.
50.
50
United
different formulas.
States.
It went into making this great product that is Gypsy Vodka. 50. That means when they got to 10, no, wasn't good enough. 20 wasn't good enough. 30 wasn't good enough. 40
not 51.
wasn't good enough. But they got to the magic number, and that's Bill and Beard. 50, baby. They got to the 5-0 and they made it great. I'm telling you, this stuff is amazing. We had it on Thanksgiving. My family loves it. We had it after Michigan beat Iowa. Once I got back home, you got to go get this stuff. Go into your neighborhood, local liquor store and ask for Gypsy Vodka. They have it. Please believe you. But if you're going to drink, you drink responsibly.
Absolutely, every time.
And you're going to do it after Michigan beats Georgia, right?
That's what I'm talking about, Fish.
Yes, they are.
Where has this fish been all year? Where has this fish been?
Come on, Fish.
That's what I'm talking about, Fish.
That's what's up. And I'm wearing the Braylon Edwards Gang Green 17 For the J.
It's a little green and white love right there.
Jets.
Jets.
Yeah, Mark Sanchez talk about the Jets this week on the Lions broadcast.
I missed it.
I did not. What did he say?
He just brought up how dominating they were and what could have been. What could have been.
Mike Tannenbaum, man, you're welcome. Like Mike Tannenbaum, I understand his job as a GM is tough because you gotta figure out contracts, you gotta figure out what money we can sustain, what money we can't sustain, who we can keep, who's getting older, who gels, who doesn't, who's in trouble, who's not. I understand that, but he broke up a core nucleus of guys. There was a lot of meat, as you like to say, left on that bone. And it's one of those things, I BS you not, still get PTSD to this day. Thinking about what could have been, thinking about both AFC championships we should have won.
Yeah.
And thanks to a guy named Ryan Schottenheimer, you know what I'm saying, we lose them both. But I still get PTSD thinking about it.
Let me ask you about this. Because he's the guy that essentially, for lack of a better way to say it, screwed that up.
Yeah.
When you see a guy like that pop up on ESPN, when you know that he's the guy responsible for essentially breaking up a football team that had the potential to win a Super Bowl, like, what do you think as a former player on that team who's, the course of your life is affected by decisions that are made by gentlemen like Mike Tannenbaum? I mean, if you're a Super Bowl champion, Braylon Edwards,
right.
I mean, there are certain things that go along with that.
Yeah, you realize who owns ESPN and who Mike Tannenbaum is. So there's like a match right there, and you look at it as more as a who you know, not what you know.
Yeah.
And that's how I look at it. Mike Tannenbaum, yes, he was in the GM. He was in the front office for two teams. He was in the front office for the Jets as well as the Miami Dolphins. But you just understand it's more so about who you know, not what you know. Because when he gets on there, he's an interesting individual. I think overall, he's a good guy.
Good guy, but
I think overall he's a good guy.
Screwed up a franchise.
Good guys don't win Super Bowls.
You know what he said about the Lions? They got the right guy in Dan Campbell. That's what Mike Tannenbaum said. I just want you to know that.
What do you think of Tannenbaum?
I think he was okay. He did wrong by the Jets. I was pissed. But look who did wrong here with the Lions, letting Sue and breaking up that defense. So the same thing happened here in Detroit that happened in New York. Two of my teams.
Very true, but the difference with that team and the difference with the Jets, I think that's why the Jets people Jets fans, shout out to Jet Nation, Gang Green, they might be a little more upset. There was back-to-back AFC championships. You saw the formula right there. Mm-hmm. You saw what it was back-to-back 2 years in a row, and you still put the trigger on those moves that will ultimately take the Jets out of playoff contention. And they haven't been back to the playoffs since that 2010 season, 2011 playoff. That's 10 years.
And the difference between what happened here with the Lions and what happened there with the Jets is that you don't see Martin Mayhew showing up on ESPN telling everybody else what they're doing wrong.
Right, he's still employed by an NFL team.
That's true too.
He's not telling everybody else what they're doing wrong.
We should talk to Mayhew.
Don't you hate when individuals weren't good at what they did, but have the audacity to then talk about other individuals doing those same type of things?
Isn't it a great country? I mean, isn't that a great country? You can make money doing anything.
It's the best thing of all time. It's a great country.
You can make money doing anything, even if you suck.
You can be
well, I'm not going to talk about myself. I'm just
Anyway, moving right along.
Right, here's Dave Bing, guys. This was on the broadcast the other day. I think raised some eyebrows.
What are your thoughts on this young team, and most notably, their number one pick, Cade Cunningham?
I think he's starting to come into his own right now. I mean, we're worried about him early on in terms of his shooting, but he's been playing very, very well. So I think he's going to be an all-star caliber player. I don't think he's a guy you build your team around. We still got to get that guy. We don't have it yet, in my opinion. And I also think, our weakness is the backcourt. We got to get a good point guard.
Wow. Okay, so there you go. So on the broadcast, Dave Bing says he believes Cade Cunningham is an all-star caliber player, but you can't build a team around that guy. That player is still not here yet. You have to go get that guy, and they need a point guard. They don't have a good point guard on the roster. So I don't want to say it's a shot at Cade Cunningham. I do want to say he's got zero belief in Killian Hayes.
It's a shot at the GM, Troy Weaver, because that's his 2 number 1 draft picks. And we all said, oh, man, did he miss on Killian Hayes? The guy
we all
went down.
said that.
Yeah, we all said that.
We're still saying that.
We're all saying it. The kid got hurt, and he's not been the same, or maybe he just wasn't going to be that good to begin with.
And I don't want to write the book on him.
No.
He's a young player. Cade Cunningham on the other end, Braylon. I don't think what Dave Bing said is crazy blasphemous. I do have a strong belief in Cade Cunningham that he's going to be a top 20 player in this league.
So what I would think about is you're talking about Dave Bing. You're talking about former Mayor Dave Bing, someone that's also in the NBA Hall of Fame. It's a guy that still has his wits about him because he said that Killian Hayes wasn't that deal. And so far, you're a year and 3 quarters in, and not 3 quarters. You're a year and a third in to Killian Hayes' career, and he's right. He's right about Killian Hayes. Now, as it relates to Cade Cunningham, maybe what he meant, was you can't win with just Cade Cunningham. Because if you're just saying Cade Cunningham, Cade Cunningham's had a really good season so far. He's doing something that only Larry Bird and LeBron James and Adam Alvins or something, I think is the third person doing in terms of his stat line. So, that's great company he's keeping. But he can't do this by himself. Maybe that's what he's saying. Like, maybe if you add another major piece, maybe if you add that Damian Lillard, or if you add that whatever he was looking for, whatever piece he was thinking about, add that to it. Now you have 2 people that you have an identity and you can build around. So maybe he was more so saying that. I'm going to hope that's what he was saying, because I like Cade Cunningham a lot. Cade Cunningham is a guy that's a leader. Cade Cunningham is a guy that plays defense. He plays offense. He can get to the bathroom. He can get to the basket in a plethora of different ways. Just look at the hezzy that he put on KD the other night. He put a hezzy on KD, froze the hell out of KD. Then he gets to the basket, and because he has long arms as well, he's able to stay in front of KD and finish the basket. So he's a great individual, and he's on his way up. But you do need that other player, because if you look at all teams that have success, they have 2 to 3, and most teams have 3. Right now, we have 1, and I think maybe that's more so what he meant.
You know what I'll tell you, when I see this kid, and again, I feel like anytime you compare players, you feel like you have to knock somebody down to make your point about
Terrible
how
concept.
good the other person is.
That concept.
I hate that. I'm certainly not trying to do that. But just in Dave Bing's defense here, I feel when I see Paolo Banchero for Duke this year, the 6'10 forward who's a freshman who will probably be the #1 player in this year's draft, when I see him play, that to me seems like, looks like a kid, man, where you're like, oh my God. I mean, Cade, you're like, man, that's a really good player.
Not ooey?
No, but when you see Paolo Banchero, you're like,
and this,
you know what I mean? Like,
I agree with you. It goes back to what I was thinking, or my mindset when we got Cade, and early in the season, before the season started, and we kind of started talking about the summer league and what Cade was doing before he got injured, the preseason. I said it would be the year that the Detroit Pistons have the first pick, that there's not that guy that you just know. And everybody said, well, you know what? He's been balling in Oklahoma State. Like, he balled out. He did his thing. We've known about him. I said, when AI was the #1 pick in the NBA draft, you knew AI was going 1.
But I'd rather Cade Cunningham than Anthony Edwards.
No, I was talking about AI.
Yeah, well, that guy, yeah.
But I was saying, like, I was more so saying that I was unhappy that you didn't have that guy.
Like a LeBron type
Tim
guy.
Duncan.
Yeah.
You knew he was going to be Shaq.
Right.
You knew what he was going to be. Chris Webber, shoot. You knew what these guys are
Hall
going
of
to be.
Famer.
We had Cade Cunningham. You're like, to your point, you said, yeah, really good, but it's not the guy I want to be excited about drafting first overall. Like, Cade Cunningham seems like a really good 4th pick overall.
Look what happens to our Detroit team, right? Lions stink just when you need them to stink. They didn't stink the year prior enough. And here they are picking, and there's no quarterback there for them. When there was for the past 2 seasons, there's a chance. And the same thing happened to the Pistons. Has a team won the lottery back-to-back?
Yeah, the Cleveland Cavaliers.
Did they win it back-to-back?
2 years in a row. They got Anthony Edwards and they got Kyrie.
Yeah.
Okay.
Or Wiggins. They got Wiggins and Kyrie.
So there's a chance.
There is a chance.
Wiggins and Kyrie.
Now, again, here's a perfect example. And again, not to knock Cade Cunningham.
They had
because
3 picks
I love
out of 4 in the first round.
Cade, I love you. But if you compare Cade Cunningham to Jason Tatum, I believe they're comparable players. Okay?
I think Tatum has more upside. But he doesn't have leadership qualities, I don't think.
Is Jason Tatum that guy? I mean, is Jason Tatum that guy? He's a really, but he
offensively he is.
But he needs that, Jaylen
Brown, Kyrie Irving when he was playing well.
You need the Kyrie Irving. I mean, he's having a nice season this year, but it's not like the Celtics are blowing up the world here in the Eastern Conference.
I agree.
I'm just saying, you need that other guy. Now, in the NBA, you always need 2 or 3 guys anyway, but I'm just saying that I don't think Dave Bing is as crazy as people are making him out to be. Now, you give me Paolo Banchero and Cade Cunningham, and I'll show you the 3rd or 4th seed in the East next year. Huh?
And Beef Stew.
Beef
and those
Stew.
Guys.
Oh, Isaiah Stewart.
Come on.
Miles Turner, man. Where you at?
Where you at?
Pacers are blowing it up. You said it the other day.
Yeah.
Maybe get on board with them. Get someone from them.
They dropped it. They tricked it yesterday.
Yeah,
they had their chance, and Steph Curry happened. Steph Curry wasn't looking for that. Steph Curry wasn't looking for that 3 yesterday.
Drove it to the basket.
Drove to the basket. Not kick passes.
Guys, Mass's videos of the day.
Best time
Already
of the
that
show,
time.
man.
And then we're gonna go do some shopping, Bray.
I'm excited, man. Let's talk about that a little bit.
Ermanni and Edwards.
Woodward Sports Network. The bottom line.
Okay, you thirsty little spin goblins. I want you to pedal into the next dimension. Spin it! Spin! Spin! Uh-oh! Carmen's falling behind. Let's give her the hiss of shame. Spin! Spin! Spin till you bleed!
Don't ride the bike of shame. Come to Planet Fitness and find your own lane with tons of equipment, free fitness training, and no hissing. Join today for just $10 a month.
It's the Lions pregame show, covering everything you need to know for game day. Join Pros and Joes as we cover our hometown Detroit Lions.
Hey, gang, it's Ryan here, talking about Guardian Alarm, your local security experts. They have been for your 90 freaking years. Guardian Alarm, black and yellow, stick it out in front of your house, and you know what it says to the people out there?
What does it say there, Mr. Ermanni?
It says stay out, Braylon.
Get the heck out.
Yep, that's right. A good defense on and off the field that helps you feel secure. The Guardian Alarm state-of-the-art technology helps you feel safe 24/7. Local monitoring, that is 24/7.
You know how long that is?
That's 7 days a week as well. Guardian Alarm has convenient features, too, because the features are very convenient, and we like those. They let you check in on your home, control your lights, your temperatures. Maz can unlock and lock his doors as he sees fit. Even
Click
going
on
to
the
detect
button.
smoke and carbon monoxide. All you got to do is call 1-800-STAY OUT.
Stay out.
Hey.
Come on, man.
That
Stay
number again.
out.
1-800.
Stay
out.
Stay out.
Stay
out.
Little Freddie Mercury.
That's why you picked it. That's where I went with that.
The number again, 1-800.
Stay out.
Get out of here.
That was Live Aid.
And while you're there, staying out, go ahead and find new roads.
Go use your phone to bet on some sports tonight.
That's right on
Wings,
the My
go
Book.
Wings.
Yeah,
Wings over Islanders.
If you're at home, get you some of that
Sorry,
Gypsy
man.
vodka, man.
Gypsy vodka, stay
go.
out, stay home.
Promo code Woodward.
There you go.
There you go.
Don't forget the plum markets too.
And
Thank you.
While you're at it, go ahead and get a haircut at Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men. It's wicked awesome.
And when you're doing that, bring some toys over too.
That's right. Bring some toys over, guys. Look at the studio.
Job, Fish.
We are here. 15 in Woodward is our location, and we are inviting people, businesses, whoever the case may be, to come on out and donate a toy, stuff a studio. Last year, Woodward Sports, they raised over $70,000 worth of toys for our Stuff a Studio campaign. Want to beat it this year, and we thank Guardian Alarm. We thank Myre for their participation in all of this.
I can't wait to shop.
We are donating to kids at Mott Children's Hospital. You can drop off toys here in our studio from 8 a.m. to 10 p.m. all week. Woodward Studios located at 34915 Woodward Avenue. That is in Birmingham, Michigan. 15 in Woodward.
The back of Lady Jane's.
Back of Lady
Birmingham.
Jane's
World
headquarters. Wicked awesome. How about that? We're going to go shopping today too, Bray.
Hey, man, you talk about it, man. You talk about it and take us to these videos.
Hey, by the way, guys, thank you to the Jana family and Plum Markets for bringing in all those toys today. Andrew Jonah works here with us. We love him. He's our basketball expert here. The kid will talk basketball 24/7 with you. Well, his mom, Mrs. J, came in here with a bunch of toys today and speakers. And I can't tell you, there must have been 20 bags.
Shout out to Plum Market, man. That's where I get all my flowers from Ryan. So, you know what I'm saying? I love
look at
Plum
that.
Market.
Get it.
So thanks to the Jonah family.
Maz, you're up.
All right, let's start last night. Monday Night Football. You talked about it earlier, Braylon. The father-son combo. Van Jefferson, and Sean Jefferson. Sean Jefferson used to be the wide receiver here in Detroit. Actually, was one of the coaches. So he coaches on the Arizona side. He's the wide receiver coach over there. No. Well, his son scorched his secondary.
Yes, he did.
Last night. Let's check him out because after the game, Van gave Dad the game ball. How's that, huh?
He's like, hey, son, that was a good touchdown, but you kissed my ass.
When he scorched him last night,
you saw him on the sideline?
He looked pissed. There's a part of me that says that was a little bit of theater.
Well, I don't know.
Maybe. I don't know, man.
Nah.
You think?
No, because at the end of the day, your job, once you're in that level, and I wanted my dad to talk about that while he was here.
I know.
But we
I
forgot.
wish I would have asked him.
I dropped the ball on that one. But, it's a level where, yes, you respect your son, you love your father, but he's been telling those he's been telling those defensive backs, the Arizona Cardinals, what his son does well, what his son doesn't do well. Watch out for this move. So the reason why he was so pissed is because he told them when they go in this formation, this is what he's going to do. When you got my son, you're going against Van Jefferson. Watch the deep cross. Watch the deep post. And when they score on the very play that you warned them about, you're pissed.
Right.
I've been telling you for 7 days this was going to happen. And Monday Night Football, you get an extra day. So 8 days I've been telling you about it, and you let it happen anyway. That wasn't theater. He was pissed.
He was pissed, and then a second later he realized it was his son. And he said, all right, the hell with it.
Braylon, Alex is making fun of you.
What'd I do?
Alex is making fun of you going all crazy and making your hand motion.
Not your finger, Braylon.
That's what these guys do.
I thought he was making fun of my finger.
Look at Fish over here.
Yeah.
Look at this comic. Look at this comic.
Is that how you looked at the Grey Cup?
Look at this comic.
Just look at him.
He looks like one of those.
Who's better than Fish?
Nobody.
Not many.
Nobody.
All right.
Hey, let's keep it in the NFL. The GOAT. Well, he's the GOAT on Twitter and Instagram as well.
Man.
Tom Brady giving it to Tony.
This is great.
So I was rewatching the broadcast from last night, and I heard Tony say,
Tom does that in the pocket all day long. That's the same thing he does to move people with his eyes, because he's slow, right? He can't actually make someone miss.
so is he not watching? Because...
Hughes was coming from the backside. He felt it, and he slides up.
He looks fast as I don't know what.
It's almost like he's going. Yeah, it's almost like he is hearing what the announcers are saying in his helmet as he's playing the game.
Well, one, yes, but two, I mean, if you're running as Tom Brady, you know people are talking, you know what, so it's great. But what I love is ever since the year before he got to Tampa, and really when he got to Tampa, Tom Brady has become this guy that you're like, wait. He has a personality. Not only that, wait. He's funny as hell.
That's why he had to get away from Bill Belichick.
He likes to party. Wait. I think you see these individuals spend so much time, and we talked about it with Kobe, they sacrificed for years wanting to be great. And then at the end, they're like, all right, cool, now it's time to have fun and lay back. Yep. And Tom's just able to have the ability to do it before he retires.
Last one, Mass.
So good. Let's keep it in football then. I'll save Jay Williams for tomorrow. How about Brian Kelly? Brian Kelly.
I just don't know what he's doing.
I just don't even know where to go with this thing. This is Brian Kelly, I think, dancing, I guess.
What's he doing?
I have no idea.
I don't get it.
Look at him. It's family.
And who's that guy?
Recruit?
It's a recruit.
What's he doing?
It's Brian Kelly dancing back-to-back with a recruit.
I'm here with my family.
So what they do is that they have these at award shows, and they do it with recruits at college. You have that room, you go spin around, and it comes out with all these great pictures and these great glamour shots. 40 award shows backstage, and they implemented it into recruiting so that you can do all this cool stuff with putting the uniform on and see how you look and like, oh, you know what, I look better in the LSU uniform than I do in Notre Dame, et cetera, et cetera. So he's just up there having fun, and I think he's trying to have fun.
He's counting his money.
I don't 100% he's doing that. I don't necessarily have a problem with that one like I did with the accent. Like, the accent was just ridiculous. Like, it's like, really, like, he pump the brakes. That one, I don't mind so much.
Well, when are you here with your family?
I damn sure ain't here with my family.
Love you guys. Braylon, get us out of here.
Hey, man, is Steph Curry going to break the record today? Yes, he's going to do it.
Of course,
Only
it's
question
against the
is
Knicks.
it the first quarter? Is it the second quarter? Is it the third? I'm going with he's going to break the record with at least 7 minutes left in the first quarter. Hey, guys, we appreciate you as always, reminding Edwards. Donate some toys. Donate some toys. That's all we're asking. Come in, pop in, donate a couple toys. It's going to a great cause. It's going to Moss Children's Hospital, and they do so much. Do your part. Maz, Fish, Alex, we're out of here till tomorrow, and that's the bottom line.
You know, the main mission was to come back, was to beat Ohio State and win a Big Ten championship. And
Hey, Kenny, I'm glad you're in between them. That's good.
And you know,
please stay there.
Better than his offensive lineman.
Oh.
Just throw him under the bus.